minus 1 minute. T minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Walk to Westport.
Welcome, everybody, back to another edition of the Best Grow Show. We are in the house, and again, it's not a self-given title. I talk to things and people and objects, and this week I went out and talked to forest creatures. We've all been there, and 9 out of 10 of them said this is the Best Grow Show. So, hey, we're back, and we've got some awesome guests here. We've got a three-peat here. It's all gonna happen today. So let me introduce everybody real quickly. I'm gonna go through here. We'll start with Mama Kush. How are you doing today, Mama Kush?
Oh, I'm fabulous. Thank you so much for having us on today. This is amazing. Oh my goodness.
Oh, I'm so glad you guys were able to join. Mr. Ganiks, how are you doing today, sir?
I am great. How are you?
Oh, dude, I'm doing fantastic. It's fun. This is, I was talking with Mama earlier. This is just a continuation of last night. So,
Oh my goodness.
yeah.
We partied last night.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You got out before the glitter came out, so
I got out before the glitter comes out. Something that never happens around here at my house. The glitter. My wife loves glitter. I occasionally have glitter in the beard, so it happens. It's one of those things. So I would have fit in. I would have fit in well. I would have been okay with the glitter.
perfect. Yeah.
And I want to give another shout out here to Cbunny Grow. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah.
A little nervous.
That's absolutely fine. That's a common thing that people will say beforehand. I still get nervous, and I performed in front of hundreds of people on a regular weekly basis, thousands of people. For some reason, I still manage to get nervous. But the bright side is the first 10 minutes, you're kind of nervous, and then all of a sudden it's been 2 hours. Every time, without fail.
Yeah.
So
Always happens.
yeah.
And we're all nervous together, so there's that too.
That's right.
Yeah, right. It's the collective.
So much easier.
Yeah. So now you guys are all part of Home Grow the Community, which I think is an awesome thing, because building community is really what we're out here to do. It's education, obviously, as we aim to educate. But as a community, we're able to educate each other more efficiently. And, efficiency is always a good thing. But, if all four of us were growing the same seed right now and trying to take notes, that would take me an entire year to get 4 grows. But collectively, we could all do it together. So I think the community aspect is an awesome thing. And I'm glad to see, everybody in chat joining us today. You guys are always good. And we shall definitely give away some beans today. That's something we always like to do here. Like to get people growing. And
Ooh.
heck, let's start it off. I always like to get the early birds too, because the early birds that are here, like right in the intro.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. And we've got 100 people strong already. I'm going to pull up the StreamYard tool before we even get going with the show. So let's see here. StreamYard giveaway tool. I feel like the teacher on a chalkboard trying to write as fast as he talks. Usually doesn't go that way. Okay, giveaway page. And I am going to plug in. This is going to be easy. I already know what I'm plugging in here. Nobody needs to go. HGTC. Okay, I apologize for all our Canadian friends. This is going to be a US only contest. I know. But the bright side is hopefully we have someone in Canada soon able to give away some beans for me. But this will be for US only. And let's see, what are we going to do? I always like to give away my stuff first as the early birds. And we're going to do this week, I grabbed the Chad. So let's see, the Chad, again, the part of the wonderful masking tape series. Yep. Twin Peaks. The Chad is the Westport grape juice times the Twin Peaks. So Twin Peaks has some chem in it. The Westport grape juice is the Westport grape juice. But if you're in the US and you're interested in growing these out, just HGTC, home grow the community. Yay!
Yeah,
So let's I guess that's a good place to start with maybe a little bit of backstory about how you guys came together, or home grow the community, how it came to be. And I know Mr. Ganiks, you probably have a good backstory for that one.
So we've been together for 2 years now. We've been doing the whole live thing over on Instagram, and it kind of came together just as like a group where we wanted to, like you kind of said, like spread the knowledge to people, but have a place where people can come ask questions comfortably, not feel like you're asking stupid questions, and have people that they can reach out to, whether it's us, whether it's people in the community, people in the chat, doesn't matter who it is, but just a place where new growers, old growers feel comfortable to come and ask questions and, meet new people and just have people to talk to about this plant, because I know we've all driven everybody in our normal lives crazy with, talking about growing cannabis, and everybody, everybody in my life has told me like, I don't want to hear about it anymore. Just let me see the finished product and I'm good.
Right.
So this is a place where we can all feel comfortable and just hang out and talk about this plant, our experiences with it, our problems with it, our, stuff like that, just to share knowledge and be comfortable doing it. So, yeah.
That's awesome, man. Like, that is the goal. We were talking about this earlier, that's a goal with a lot of what we all do is just to build that kind of that community space where, new or old can feel comfortable asking a question that they may think is silly, and we may be like, that's a freaking great question. So
Stuff we never even thought of, or people will have answers that we never even thought of.
No,
like people will ask us questions while we're doing our lives, and then people in the chat will start answering it. I'm like, man, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
So
Chad is ace, man. This community is awesome because Chad has a lot of answers. I will see some questions in the chat, and I'll kind of like, put a star next to the question, or I'll like earmark it, make a little note. And within a few minutes, I'm like, well, that's been answered as well as I would have answered it. So
if not better sometimes, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's what makes us the community, makes everybody the community.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we want everybody to be part of it, not just us. Everybody.
Exactly.
I mean, if somebody has a question about that something I'm not familiar with, well, I can figure out who I'm going to point them to, who can answer their questions. I might not be able to, but I can sure find a person that can.
And that's so important. That's one thing that I always try to focus on or like mention to people. It's like it's okay to not know the answer to something. It's absolutely fine. I prefer not to be BS'd.
Exactly.
But the other side of that is like I don't know, but here's where I would go to find the answer, or here's who I would ask, or this is where I would start my road on trying to figure it out. So yeah, that's an absolutely great answer to have, because again, that gives us the opportunity to then look over at chat and let's learn something from each other, the community,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Let's talk about this. Let's have that conversation.
Yep. Cool. Let's see here. Where are we at? We are at with this 80 entries. Let's give this away, man. Let's give people the best possible odds they can early on. Again, HGTC Home Grow the Community. And this is for US only. This is a pack of the Chad, which is out there and being grown. So we can do that.
Good luck.
Yep. Good luck, everybody. Here we go. If you are the winner, just type in the chat that you are in the US, and I'll have you hit me up over Instagram, and we'll get the right info for you. Mainwoods Grow. Congratulations. And I should write these things down.
Congratulations.
Yay, Mainwoods Grow.
Oh, cute puppy. Oh my goodness.
Oh, I'm in a different room this week. I haven't finished setting all my new stuff up yet. So I'm writing with a Sharpie on the side of a box. Mainwoods Grow.
All disoriented.
It's a lot of work to move all your whole setup.
Oh man, it is. It's one of those things that it kind of funny and I'm pretty positive I'm not the only one in chat. Y'all can back me up. But you ever look in a corner of your room and be like, a tent would go there, and then pretty soon you have like zero room.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at.
Tents won't go there anymore because I already got 3.
I'm like, well, you know, I should really give this room to my plants. I think I'm just going to go in the little cubby hole over here with my desk and my camera. Priorities, right?
That's right. You got to give the queens their space.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hey, that's why we're all here, because of that plant, right? That's why we're all doing this. So.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why we're here.
Why
we're here and why we're here together. And, you know, it's our passion for learning. Like you said, Mr. Ganiks, there are some people where they're just like, I don't care, dude. Put it in my pipe. But there's so much deeper. And, you know, everybody's got their hobbies, and we've kind of chose this. And it's a fun one because you can really endlessly learn.
Exactly.
Best hobby in the whole world.
Yes.
It's
so much.
You get so much satisfaction from the seed to the smoke. Like there's so much satisfaction in between. You know, it's just the best thing I could have ever done for my life.
And it's learning too. I mean, have you guys learned anything about yourselves, or maybe just different patterns or routines through growing? Has it improved? You know, I personally think it's made me a more patient and mellow person. But what has your experience been? I guess we can start with you, Mama Kush.
I was going to say patience, because I mean the plant's only going to grow as fast as the plant's going to grow. You can try and go along as fast as you want to go, but she's the boss. So okay, I'll learn patience.
Yeah. And how about you, Mr. Ganiks?
I would say the same thing. I wasn't going to say that I've learned patience, because I'm still not a very patient person, but it's definitely taught me that I'm not a patient person. That's something that I definitely need to work on. So I'm getting better. Definitely getting better. I do let them kind of dictate time frames for me, but it's making me better as a person and as a whole. Trying to be more patient and understanding, I guess.
And this is where people, you know, this is where it's the gateway drug, because it takes so long to grow just the single plant. We were like, well, if I plant carrots, those are done in, you know, just 5 to 7 weeks. If I plant this, you know, little baby green onions, those are done in 3 weeks. So the gateway to gardening there.
Absolutely.
Yep. And Cbunny, I would love to hear maybe about your gateway to gardening, or for cannabis. Like, how did you maybe come across the plant or decide, hey, this is something that I want to grow? What was your kind of introduction to growing?
I've always been now. I had never seen a cannabis plant in person.
Okay.
So I met someone and I started helping just with little things, defoliation, outdoor gardening, things like that. And then 2 years ago, I decided that I wanted to do it solo. I wanted to do it myself. I didn't want to travel. I wanted to be in full control. So yeah, I started 2 years ago and I would never look back. It's taught me so much. Besides patience, it's taught me to be calm. It's brought me joy. It's brought back the eagerness to want to learn about something other than, you know,
that is
my
so
kids.
I love that.
Yeah, I really do love that eagerness to learn, that desire, because
Yes.
gosh, once you lose that like passion or you lose that flame, that's when you get old, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. You have to keep your mind going. You have to keep it going. If you don't, I mean, we're just going to stall out and just wait for the end. There's no fun in that.
No.
Well, I feel
there is
like it's
no
real
fun.
easy to fall into that routine. Like you finish school, you get a job.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You go to your job every day. You know, you get up and you do the same thing day in and day out, and don't have these things that bring you joy. The eager to want to learn something new. So yeah, I definitely think that
And that's
it kind
another.
of pulls you out of that routine and gives you something to look forward to.
Yes.
Yeah, and you mentioned joy there. That's a great one word like answer to it. Like joy. Yeah. What does gardening and cannabis bring to you? Joy. Easy answer
Joy.
there. Right on.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like that just sums it all up because it really does bring so much joy from like I said before, from the seed to the smoke. It really is joyful to grow this plant.
Yes.
You know, I know we all feel it. That's why we're here.
Yes.
Yeah. And rewarding too when you can try, you know, the variety of genetics that are out there. You know, whether you're the best grower or a first time grower, with some good genetics, you're still gonna get, you know, smoke that you're happy about in most majority of the cases. You know, it's built up to be something that could be extremely complex, but it's also a weed, and we know that really with just water and good soil, it will grow. So
yeah,
there is that.
Very true.
There's that. Now, one thing that I've been kind of, you know, curious about, and I always love to ask people is, what are you using for pots? Because there's a variety of, you know, there's plastic, there's mesh, there's fabric, there's, you know, like city pickers or the big boxes where you bottom feed. So maybe we could go around the horn here and kind of ask, like, you know, what did you start with? If there was any particular reason, or that's what was at the store, and then if you're still using it or if you moved on to anything. So I guess since you're in the top of my screen, Mama Kush, I'm just going to pick on you the entire show and make you I'll switch it up.
No, that's okay. You're talking my love language here, gardening. I love this. So I start off in solo cups. I sometimes I'll start off in like a peat puck, those ones that you drop in the water and then they expand. So it kind of depends on what I'm feeling. Sometimes I'll do the peat pucks and then I'll go into solos, or sometimes I just go straight into solos and start the seed or the clone right in the solo cups. And then from there, I usually go straight to my end pot. And it's been about the 10-gallon is about where I'm sitting right now. I think that's about my favorite. I've gone 25, I've gone 15, I've gone 5. I think 10 is about my wheelhouse right now. I've been trying a few of them, and I think I'm most comfortable for my garden and the way I want to run it to the 10 gallons. So I'm using the Bud Trainer Bud pots. They're fabric pots, and they have like a metal wire along the top, so they stand straight up, and they have full grommets around the outside, so you can do LST training. So you don't have to put the paper clips in and then hook the wire in and all of that. So that's the pots that I'm using, and I've been slowly increasing my bud pots in there, and I almost all my tents now are all bud trainer bud pots. Almost, we're getting there.
That sounds like a really handy type of pot or type of product too, because I like to do a lot of my training early, and it's tying it down, attaching it to the pot. It's you know, not scrognets early on at all. It's just bending, and it's amazing how you can, you know, take a branch, bend it down, and put it right here. Then the next day, it's already up like this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the best part.
Really.
That's my favorite part, because I'm so mean to my girls. I'll go in and I'll bend them over and smash them down, and then I spy on them all day in my camera. Oh, I'm so bad. But then I'll spy on them in the camera, because each tent has a security camera. So then I'll like refresh it, and it'd be like boom, you know, so you can like literally see them bouncing up over time, and it's just like all day I'm like stalking my girls in my tent.
Have you ever tried the time lapse stuff? I've never done it myself, but that looks so cool.
Oh, I want to. Yeah, I want to get a GoPro or something like that. It is. Yeah.
It looks like it would be a lot of work.
Oh,
I set my
so satisfying.
I set my camera up and did like I didn't water one of my outdoor plants. Well, I didn't water all of my outdoor plants one day when I should have, and when I came home the next day, they were all drooped over and they looked dead. They were real sad. So I set my phone up and did it was like an hour-long time lapse. It wasn't anything crazy. And it was just, I watered them all, set my camera up, and then hit record on time lapse, and then just watched them all come back to life, which was pretty cool. But it's like an hour-long video sped up into like 10 seconds. You need so much footage to get like a 2-minute video. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. It's so satisfying to watch them bounce back, though. That's the most satisfying thing ever. I'm like, yes. And then they're like thanking you for it. They're even happier the next time. You know, it makes it even better.
Gosh, it really is amazing when you see them bounce back from being too dry, because I've come in and, you know, it's been too long. I was gone for a day or whatever, and I come in and everything is just you're just like, this is a heartbreaker. But you water it, and here's a trick too to like re-watering soil that's gotten too dry, because you'll probably notice that if it's gotten totally dry, this next time you dump water on it, it will usually pool at the top, or it runs right down the sides and out the bottom of the pot. And that's the soil becoming hydrophobic. Doesn't like the water. Products like silica can kind of help, because it makes water wetter in a way. But the best thing that I've found to get that soil back to soaking in water and taking water is small waterings more frequently. Like if I typically gave that pot 1,000 milliliters of water and it had dried out and it's gone hydrophobic, I'd start by putting 300 milliliters of water on there and just let that sit and maybe soak. And then 30 minutes later, I put another 300 milliliters on there. And I kind of do that until it starts to soak back in and reabsorb. And then you're good to go from there. But that is something that can get people too, because it'll be like, oh, it's dry. I need to water it. And then they dump like 3 gallons on there, but it all runs down the sides.
Yeah, and they can't understand why they have so much more runoff this time than they normally do.
Yeah.
Great point.
You know,
Great point.
Out of
That's something to pay
that
attention.
3,000 milliliters of water or whatever you said, you know, you got 2.5 gallons of it ran through.
Absolutely.
But then you end up with these dry pockets inside that never actually fully get moistened. So you go to transplant and you dig your hand in there, and you're still finding minerals from, you know, way back that shouldn't be there. But you've created all these dry pockets in there. So you need to, you know, make sure you're wetting everything, and it's slowly going down. And especially in fabric pots too. You can't water too fast in fabric pots, because it just comes out the side. You have to water slowly.
You do. And with the fabric pots, I like to start around the edge, because that, even though that's where it kind of drips out the most, that's usually the driest part of the container, just because the air is hitting the circumference there.
Very true.
Yeah, I do the same thing. Yeah, I start on the outside. I let that go around, and then I'll do each pot around the outside, and then I'll come back again, and I'm like, okay, so now you get the next ring, and then I'll go back and do them all, and then I go back and I water, and then the ring keeps getting smaller and smaller, and it seems to be working. I'm not getting any runoff out the bottom. Everything seems happy so far.
That's a smart way to do it. Again, that's going to put it, get the water soaked in the places that it needs to be. So awesome procedure there. Let's see here. Sorry, distracted there. Okay, Cbunny, how about you? What kind of pots do you like to use?
So my first 2 grows, I did use plastic pots, and then I did switch to the AC Infinity fabrics. The reason I switched to fabric is I had a tendency of overwatering. So with the fabric pot, I was able to, like you said, you got to do it slow. So it forced me to water it slowly and not overdo it. And I'll go from solo cup, then I'll go to my 5-gallon, which is the AC Infinity fabric.
Nice. That's a good size. I tend to stick around that size in my tent. They say bigger the roots, the bigger the fruits. And like Mama with the 10 gallons, you're probably going to be growing bigger plants than I would in there. And 10 gallons, man, that's usually when it's wet. That's usually right about the point of like lifting or needing a dolly.
Yeah, that's right. I do a lot of dragging. I drag things. I just grab the handles and drag it.
That's a test of the product right there, though. Test the stitching on those handles.
That's right.
Anybody ever done that? Grab a wet pot.
But
how many pots have you ripped the handles?
But that big 25-gallon, when that's wet and you got plants in there, that sucker is heavy. And I was dragging that thing all around my deck all summer long, and the handles are like, you couldn't even tell. The pot looks brand new. It's fabulous.
Nice.
And Mr. Ganiks, you had mentioned, outdoors. So are you using pots outdoors as well? Is it like on a deck like Mama, or are you in the ground out in the field, or how's that for you?
I've done both. I've done in the ground. I've done in pots. I've also dug a hole, put the pot in the ground. And so the one year that I actually did the pot in the ground, it was funny. The plant was getting big really fast. And I was like, oh man, what am I going to do? Like, I'm outgrowing this pot already, and it's only like June. What am I going to do? So I ended up picking that pot up. It was a 30-gallon pot, fabric pot, and I picked it up out of this hole with this big-ass plant on top of it. I pulled it out of the hole, cut the bottom off the pot, dug the hole deeper, and then filled it with like Pro Mix and decent soil. So I had like another probably 3, like the depth was about 3 of the 30-gallon pots, and it was full of the soil, but it was just straight down instead of being a big hole. And I left the sides on, and I just put it back down there, and I just let it do its thing.
So essentially you were root training it. You were forcing it to go down and not sideways. You're like, no, you're going to go deep.
Not on purpose. It was just kind of, that's just how it happened. And I never really thought about that at the time, but that's true, I guess.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest pot I've done outdoors is 100-gallon.
Monster. Did you have just one plant in there, or did you do multiple?
It was just
plants?
one. Yeah, it was just one plant. And it
outdoors,
didn't get
I like my plastic, for sure.
Yeah, I find fabric dries out very quickly outside.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
You get a nice breeze or a really hot day, and it's like sometimes you gotta water 2-3 times a day just to keep up with the fabric pots drying out so quick. But
and there's probably a lot of competition too. Again, just the drier soil next to it will kind of like leach some of that moisture away. It wants to equalize or create the equilibrium in the soil. And that's too, you mentioned you dug a hole and you put Pro Mix in, which is a good move because very, very few people have good enough native soil, whether it's the structure, whether it's the aeration, whether it's minerals. Very few people can actually just go dig a hole and then plant a seed. You really do need to prep it. Is there anything else you do?
Anything else that I do?
Well, I mean, as far as like the outdoor, you buried, you put the pro mix in there. How are you feeding the
I did.
plants?
I use Gaia Green for the most part. Um, I always mix everything up in my soil initially, and then I transplant into that pot, and then it's usually good for like 2, 3 weeks, and then I do a top dress on it, and then every 2 or 3 weeks I'll do a top dress with my amendments. Um, yeah, and I this year I did a nice cover crop on my plants and had some clover and some alfalfa, and I put some marigolds in there for help with like a natural pest control,
It was
stuff
beautiful. I
like that. So
remember
yeah,
that.
Yeah, companion planting.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you did the
yeah. It was a lot
companion
of
and the
things.
cover crops. You did it both. You did both in that big pot.
Yeah,
I loved it. It was
I planted my cover
so
crop so
beautiful.
thick though that it took over and it killed all the marigolds. Like it just, I went back and I was like, "Where's the marigold?" It's been a
Oh
few days
no.
since I've seen them. I'm like, "Where'd they
They're
go?"
buried.
Like the plants were just gone. They just weren't there anymore.
Gee, what were you using out there for the cover crop?
I was using crimson clover, yellow sweet clover, I think it's called,
Hmm.
red clover, alfalfa, and I think that was it. I think that's all I had in there, but I put it in way too thick.
Good diversity. Man, it is hard with clover sometimes because the seeds are so little. They're smaller than like
Yeah.
a little poppy seed, and you just like dump it on there.
And it was just
So
like,
you
I'll
just have
take
this
this
patch.
flavor and I'll sprinkle it all around here, and then I'll take this flavor and sprinkle it all around here, and then before I knew it, it was like a full head of hair had
Overgrown.
grown in, and I was like, "Oh man, what am I gonna do?"
Oh my God, do they
It's
have
like a chia
pets
pet.
in Canada? Yes.
That's what
Okay.
it looked like. That's what it was like.
Yeah.
Chia. Dude, who's gonna be the genius that comes out with the chia pot leaf? Like
That would be
Oh.
so awesome.
Maybe
the
you should.
germinator, dude. You could germinate your seeds in the very top, and then it's a compostable one that you can bury in the ground. So first
Bury
it
it
goes
eventually.
chia, then it wow. I need
Oh,
to
and
talk
the
with Brandon
chia,
Rust.
the chia would probably be good soil nutrition too, because there's a lot of enzymes and stuff in chia. So that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's edible too. So yeah, if it's good for
Ooh,
you, it's good for your soil. So there you go. Oh,
good,
we're gonna
good
be
thinking.
quadrillionaires.
I
Yep.
know.
Might have to patent this right after the show.
I know. So looking online, damn, chiaweedleaf.com already taken.
The chat's already copyrighted it. We're out. Somebody's already taken it.
We're behind, right?
Yeah.
Viewership just
Oh.
dropped off. Everybody's going to the domain registry. Yeah. Chia. Yep.
Yeah,
pot
today's
in
the day to
there.
buy stocks in chia pets.
That's awesome. I'm so glad chia is a universal thing. If
Yeah,
there's
it
any,
is.
and I do see people from other continents in this chat. Let us know if you guys have chia pets. Is
Yeah,
chia
is this-
pet really global?
Is it a North American thing, or do other people, have weird things under the Christmas tree and get a weird fuzzy head that grows green hair? My favorite
Yeah, I've
one
seen
was
on TV stuff.
the Bob Ross one. The Bob Ross one where it comes up with the hair and he's got a paintbrush. Oh my goodness. I died. I thought
Yeah,
that was
Ross
so
is the
funny.
man, though. Well, if anybody
Bob
should have
Ross.
a chia pet, it's Bob Ross.
Mm-hmm.
If there was anybody with a
Sure.
head of hair deserving of a chia pet, definitely.
That's
Absolutely.
the one.
Absolutely, for sure.
Cbunny, I want to ask you another question. Both Mama and Mr. Ganiks have tried outdoor growing and maybe a little bit of indoor as well. Do you have a preference of where you like to grow or what you have the best luck with yet?
I do enjoy outdoors just because there is less work. Indoors, you do have to control your environment more.
Mm-hmm.
But I also prefer the indoor smoke than the outdoor. So I could grow bigger outdoors. I can't grow as big indoors. That's the only pro and con, really.
Absolutely true. Yeah, I unfortunately just climate, and I guess, my neighbors probably wouldn't be cool with a 20-foot plant in my backyard because it would take up the whole backyard. But one of these days, that is absolutely, as they say, life goals. And I always say Mendo dope plants. When I think of big plants like 10, 15 pounder plants, 20 feet by 15 feet, it's Mendo dope. So I always say I want to grow a Mendo dope plant one day. That is a life goal.
Yep, that's definitely a good goal to have.
It's a lot of work.
I wouldn't even really know where to begin. Like, I do, but I also don't, because indoor and outdoor are two different beasts. Same plant, same nutrients, same soil, completely different beasts. Like Cbunny said, we have control indoors. Outdoors, you're reacting. You can still be proactive, but you're really reacting to the elements. You're like, oh crap, 40-mile-an-hour winds and pounding rain. I should probably go put a little hoop house over it tonight.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, it's hard to beat the sun. A lot of people love it. It's a free grow light, so that's why it's great. But I'm indoors. I do dig my control, and I like to grow smaller plants because I get more variety. And variety, spice of life, but also when you're, trying to do little pheno hunts or, testing, you've got to do as many as you can. And, I could fit one in a 4x4, or I could put 20 little ones. So one's a little bit more effective for testing than the other.
Right.
Yep. And here's iBow's good comment here. Says you have to start them inside, Chad, before you put them outside in Washington State to get that big, which I believe you. Absolutely true. And it's probably going to be the east side of the state. East side, they've got over 300 days of sun per year, which is kind of crazy.
Oh.
Yeah, so
I'm on the West Coast too.
Live in the wrong place.
Being on the West Coast too, it does give it a little extra because we don't have as long of a summer as say maybe somebody on the East Coast would have, right? So being on the West Coast, it does have its own challenges, and we get a lot of rain out this way, so that's a big outdoor worry. Powdery mildew, that sort of thing.
Yes,
bud rot.
for sure.
Yeah,
that's
bud rot is
every
big.
year.
Yeah.
The bud rot, the powder mildew, all the rain that we get in the fall. The humidity is absolutely insane, and that's probably the biggest problem that I battle here is the humidity, and trying to keep my plants defoliated enough with enough airflow through them that they're not filling up with bud rot. Like a lot of the times, I throw most of mine away because of bud rot. Just because of the climate here, the elements like you were talking about earlier.
Kind of a heartbreaker too, and especially it always strikes outdoors. It always strikes the biggest, loveliest, fattest. I'm gonna put that on the cover of my magazine. And then you want to take close-ups of it, and you're like,
what is that? That doesn't look right.
And the problem with it is too. The problem with the bud rot is by the time you see it, it's already
too late.
It's everywhere at that point. Like I
had from the inside out.
Yeah. So I did an auto outside for the first time this year, and I'm thinking okay, this is my sure bet. This is the one that's gonna finish before the rest of them, but I'm gonna get a good harvest on. It might not be a huge harvest, but it's gonna be a harvest. That was the first plant that was gonna be ready. And that was the first plant that had bud rot in it. It was this giant football-sized bud, and it was like August.
Oh, wow.
And I went out there, and I was like, oh, my God. I was like, what is that? And I start looking into it. I'm like, God damn. Chop.
Yeah.
I had the same problem this year, Ganiks. My outdoor auto just got so big. I was so worried about bud rot. Oh, my goodness. This thing.
Oh.
this thing, I swear, it was like the biggest bud I've ever seen in my whole life. Look at this.
Dang. That's your auto?
That's the whole auto. That's the whole thing. The paperclip is bigger.
I mean, you're gonna have to be careful drying that.
I was so worried about bud rot this year. I was like, oh, so I felt his pain. He's like, I got these nugs, and they're like, they're cute. I'm like, I feel you, buddy. I feel you.
I still think
Yeah.
you should like varnish that or put it in
Make a
resin or something and make a Christmas ornament out of it.
Christmas ornament or something out of it. Yeah, that's the
Bronze
whole
it.
thing
Yeah,
right there.
dip it. Oh God, that's hilarious. My wife works in a
That was in a
dispensary.
10-gallon pot, by the way. Just saying, a 10-gallon pot outside.
Wow. That's the thing with autos, man. I mean, that's instantly when we're talking outdoors and we're talking about trying to beat the seasons, autos is usually one of the first things that come up for people because you could plant it earlier. It will finish earlier. But at the same time, I don't know, autos can be tough, man, because you either nail it or you don't. There's really no recovery room. There isn't a whole lot of middle with autos. It's like you either nailed it or it's 6 inches,
Right?
That's one thing I've never done is nailed an auto
I got
grow.
small hands.
I got small hands. One more time there. All right. Yeah. So what did we name it? It's so cute. It deserves a name.
That's true. No, I don't think I've named it yet. Just my successful auto. Well, there is a story behind this. I had a 3-year-old that his whole goal in life was to escape the house and knock this sucker over. So because got the most reaction out of everybody. As soon as it gets knocked over, we're like, no. So then he's like, oh, well, this is fun. Let's do this again. So the whole summer he kept on knocking it over, and I picked it up and I put it back in and I make it all nice and tuck it back into bed and give her some good stuff. And then, but it's literally as soon as she sprouted, like she got this big, she's like, I have to go to flower. I don't know what's going on. And she was literally a seedling that went to bloom.
And you were in a 10-gallon pot, so it's not it's not the classic. Well, the roots must have hit the bottom of the pot, so it started with power.
Yeah, no,
it just did its damn thing.
Well, the 3-year-old had a little bit of an issue. He literally his whole life was
to the light for the plant.
Yeah, his whole life was to knock this pot over. He wouldn't touch any of the other pots that I had, just this one. And I'm like, oh, seriously?
So what did that auto teach you for next year?
Lock the kid up.
That wasn't the direction I was going to go. But I mean, hey, that works too.
Didn't see that one coming. Good answer. Good answer.
I'm teasing. No, I'll try again. I'll give it another go. But yeah, that was not a successful harvest.
Don't react next year. Just be like, just a tomato.
Whatever.
Who cares?
Yeah. I can't though. It's my baby.
Then he'll go after a different one.
Right.
Right. See if he keeps going after the same one. Plant more seeds of it. See if he's like an insect that just like vectors on one particular plant.
He's like my little aphid.
Yeah. Oh man, I've got the. Did I load my aphid video? Did I load my aphid video? Do I have that?
I saw something on Google the other day. It was what are they called? Blue green aphids or something like that, or green blue aphids. And there's supposedly there's going to be a global problem where they're just like immune to anything we try to give it, and no matter what we do, they're just gonna. If they get there, there's not a lot we can do about it. I just saw that the other day, and it was one of those things that just popped up on Google. Like my phone listens to me about pest control and all this stuff, and it just showed up.
Dude,
and
it does.
Like,
It does.
How's your aphid problem there, Chad? Did the nymph get bigger? Did you catch it? What happened with that? Are you still working on it?
Yeah, it's coming along. I'm making a video. I actually shot some of it last night, and I bought a trifecta crop control, which I want to try because it says, and I'm going to do this, and I am kind of assuming I'm going to ruin some of the flower. But it says you can spray up until 2 weeks before harvest, which
I've heard good things about that product. Actually, I've never used it myself.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I've heard good things too. And So you're not supposed to spray, or 2 weeks until harvest. I'm gonna spray and then keep that 2 week window, but I'm pretty confident without actual any data to assume that I will taste it. I will notice, but we're gonna find out. I'll ruin my crop for everybody's sake. Again, we can learn.
All for
But I
science.
did. I went in and
That's right.
defoliated as well, which was another move that I did last
Mhm.
night. Just kind of try to take away some of their stuff. And what did you just say, Mr. Ganiks? I'm like, oh, I got to answer that, but I had to finish the other answer. You just mentioned something.
Mm.
Nope, it's gone.
The trifecta. Yeah, with the blue green. Thank you. Yeah, the coming into resistance, and that's why a lot of like IPM regiments like don't just bank on one thing or one form, one mode of action. You need to hit them with at least two, preferably three if you want to be professional, because things build up immunities. And one of the things about the trifecta crop control, one of the things that I liked about it is, and this is where I could probably see the blue-green insects or the blue-green aphids maybe having a problem too, is it's an oil, so it suffocates them. It's not like they ingest it and then they die. It's not like they get on their skin and it eats through their exoskeleton. It's just a suffocant. So, you're sitting in a liquid that you can't breathe on. But that also leaves residue on your leaves, and who knows in the flowers. I would assume that it does, and again, I would assume that you can taste it, but we'll find out. So if there's anybody in chat that's used trifecta, holler, let us know.
As far as I know, it's organic as well.
Yep, it is. It's all organic. There's no pesticides. It's like 98 or like 99% like water, vinegar, alcohol. And then it has a list of like 10 different essential oils, like clove, cinnamon, just the suffocants. And that's it's organic. But again, I'm still hesitant to spray anything in flower. I've never recommended spraying in flower before. And this, I caught it early. And actually, I'll just go ahead and I'll play the video here real quick. But I caught it very early. I was scouting as I like to do, and I saw just the smallest little speck of color on one of the leaves, and like I couldn't even make it out, just a little speck. And I'm like, I've got this cool ass microscope, let's toss it under. And when I did that, this is what I found.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a little aphid nymph.
Ew.
And you could kind of tell if you see it looks like it has back legs sticking out of the back there.
Yeah.
Those are the conicals. And see, right now it's trying to puncture into the center and feed. You see its little sticker tongue thing there. And he's like, oh, I found a good spot. I'll just put it in and I'm going to relax and I'm going to chill out.
Oh, so, just like a mosquito. They just suck it out of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So
that's a cool video though, really.
That is a cool video.
It is.
It's like a National Geographic type video.
Yeah.
It's amazing what you could get. The solid line that it was on is just the center of the leaf. Like this thing is, again, it's so small. Aphids, like adult aphids, you can usually see the body. You can like make out the legs. You can like usually see their little antennas when they get to full size. But this is like, gosh, I almost want to say like a tenth of the size. And so I immediately send it over to Matthew Gates, my friend.
Yes.
He does, does a lot of pest management stuff. And he's just like, wow. He liked the video and asked if he could use it. So I'm like, okay, that's a plus, right?
Yeah.
But, also what he told me too is that it's in the nymph stage. I'm like, well, okay. Because I was really blown away by how small it was. I'm like, well, this is an aphid, but this is the smallest one I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And what he told me is that there's, basically like 5 different stages of the nymphs before it's actually going to become the full adult. And, I wanted to roll the dice a little bit. That was the only one I saw. I scouted for at least another good hour, didn't find another one. So I'm like, 4 weeks left in flower. I'm going to let it roll. And then 2-3 days later, I'm kind of like, ooh, I see another one. and then and then
Oh,
it's not an infestation. It's not all over. For some reason, it likes the Kool-Aid Man more than the
oh,
grape juice or the chalk. Like it's not.
Hmm.
I don't see any of the little exoskeletons on those leaves, but the Kool-Aid Man. It's like, God dang it, man! That's super tasty.
Interesting.
We'll see how it turns out. But that's the one that I'm gonna
yeah.
wind up spraying. Is this the Kool-Aid?
Are you going to try bud
Interesting.
washing it when you're done? Just
That would
to
be a
get
good
everything
idea.
off?
That would
Just
be
to
a
make
good
sure.
idea. Yep. And I like to use all my trim to make bubble hash with, but I'm not going to this run because that is where I was finding them. Is like they got stuck in the trichomes. So I almost kind of feel like it's a good bud defense because they're not actually getting there, but
Yeah.
yeah,
But you don't want to get it that far. I was going to say
Yes.
if you could take it outside. I know it's cool outside right now, but and just take a blower, like a leaf blower or something, and just blow the plants outside, and then that's like a physical get off of here because they're little, they'll fly off, and then you clean out your tent and put it back in. So just if you're in flower, it's just another defense. It's not, you're not putting anything right on the bud. You're doing a physical. So I'm a high leaf blower user in my garden. I use it for pest control. I use it for cleanup. I have like my special garage one that nobody else is allowed to touch. It's an unknown tool in the garden.
Oh, we've got some. Well, it's a great tool in the garden. We've got some awesome comments coming in. Again, chat just always being stellar and coming through with suggestions and what they do.
Yep.
That leaf blower outside is very good because aphids they don't hang on very well. Like strong like mists of water, high winds, you can get a lot of the aphids off that way, especially if you're actually having like a problem with the adults, if they're gathered underneath the leaf together, if they're gathered up and down on the stem. Yeah, you can blow those suckers off, but like you said, do it outside. Don't blow them off into your grow tent floor.
Oh yeah, no.
No,
Just
don't do that.
open the door and just get them out the door and then close it real quick.
Yeah, you could just line them all up in front of your garage door, open them, and stand inside and blow them out the door, and then shut the door real quick.
And then shut the door real quick. That's a good
In
idea.
Canada, where you're allowed to grow at home.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But that's a really good idea. That's what I would do. And then I'm like, yeah, that's a great idea. And then I'm like,
Cold outside. I don't want to put my plants out in the snow, but I still gotta get rid of the problem.
Just for a minute. Just for a minute.
Yeah.
I would get it. And I
No, we're Canadian. We're Canadian. Snow will cure everything. It'll keep your beer cold. It'll get rid of your aphids.
It will, though. It will. But totally. I see a good question here from Jonathan Rice. What's up, man? He is also one of my awesome regular testers. He tests everything for me. He's got that Westport posse going right now, which we'll talk about later. The $1 million question: how did you get them? Because I like to pride myself on being the guy who doesn't spray, who doesn't do these things, and it's all about cultural controls. Keeping a clean place, not bringing things in, not taking clones from other people. That's another thing. I'm 99.9% it came from the fucking Christmas tree. Whoops, I swore there. But that's the truth. We were putting it in the stand, and you got to like slam it down on the little spikes in the stand. And I saw some needles fall and like a spider fall, and then I'm like, that's a little bug there. And then my wife said something, I got distracted, and that was the end of it. What I should have done at that point, hindsight's always 20/20, right? Even though it was completely opposite end of the house, we still have dogs, we have socks, I walk back and forth. Who knows how they actually traveled, but they did. At that point, I should have been smart enough to put beneficial insects in my tent. Because the second they would arrived on the door, those beneficial insects would have been there to be like, sorry.
Coming in.
Yeah.
I wonder how many people have actually thought about that do indoor grows, whether it's cannabis, whether it's houseplant, whether it's whatever. How many people have actually thought of, if I bring this Christmas tree into my house, there's a potential for disaster, really.
Yeah.
I've never thought about that before.
Nope.
No, me neither. And we have an awesome, actually a couple of fresh cut flower places near here that my wife likes to go to, and she'll bring home just the most beautiful bouquets all the time. But I kind of look at them, I start peeking through, I start looking for little bugs, just make sure nothing
Did you treat
traveled
those
in
before you
with
brought
them.
those in the house?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
so
have to be careful.
something as simple as that, because that's a lot of times it's flowers or a house plant. But yeah, the Christmas tree, man, didn't see
Never
that
saw it.
coming, even though I saw it and I didn't react. Next
And
year,
wait
Plants
guess
from
what?
nurseries and stuff. I've thought of that before, but I've never, ever thought of the Christmas tree.
Yep,
No,
never would have even
Never even
crossed my
crossed my
mind.
mind.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Crazy.
So next year, I will probably just proactively do it. Proactively, we'll get a Christmas tree. I'll get some beneficials, and I'll just put them in there, and see how it rolls. But
Wait, you could put out a Christmas post telling everybody this is what happened to me last year. So get your beneficials. You can help the community that way. Hey, I learned last year. This year I'm not making the same mistake.
Yeah.
yeah, for real, not trying to make that mistake. Fortunately, knock on wood, I still have a couple weeks left until harvest on those, and it's not bad. Like, I don't actually see groupings or an infestation. I just know that there's a few there, and I still don't see the adults yet, so I don't think it's made it to that full stage, which is what I was hoping for and actually kind of gambling on. I'm like, I can get through this. Growers, right? That's what we do. But yeah, that's a good idea. I am making a video right now and kind of showing people the process of what I'm doing, how it turns out. And once I get that taste test on the smoke, I'll put that out. So it'll be a while. But yeah, I'm definitely documenting it, because these are things, we deal with. Everybody goes through it. And especially when you're in flower, that's when the big question is like, what do I do? If it's a veg, easy. Like my plants and veg, I'm not even worried about those. I can spray those, with the trifecta every day if I wanted to. They're not going to
Even
have
if
a
they're
problem.
small enough, you can dip them. You can make a solution and dip them if they're small enough, and then that way everything is getting coated. You're not missing anything.
That's a good idea too,
That's
actually.
great.
When your plants are seedlings, not seedlings, but like a little bit past that stage. But do the dip.
Just give them a little dip. If you get clones, if you take clones from somebody, keep them quarantined, dip them every 3 days, dip them in a solution, because they're little. You could just dip them and they'll just dry off, right?
Have you guys ever got clones from somebody that you had a problem with?
No.
Whether it's pests or anything?
No, but I've taken one clone in the last over decade.
Yeah.
So fortunately, no.
The only one time I bought it from the reserve at one of their little cannabis shops, and it was a pretty tall plant. Like, it was probably 2 feet tall already.
Okay.
Past the point that I like to be able to work with it at that. I can't train it at that point. It's already kind of done its thing. So I brought it home and I topped it down real low, try to kind of let it get bushy, and then like a day or two in, I start kind of looking through it, and I'm like, man, there's powdery mildew on this plant.
Oh no.
Or what looked like powdery mildew, anyways. And then next thing you know, all my plants had it. And that's the only one time I've ever had it in my indoor garden.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. If you're taking clones in, be careful. You're just getting somebody else's problems.
Yeah. Never ever have I put another clone from somebody else in my garden or even brought it in my house.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. I started with clone. Like I had a buddy give me a bunch to get started, and I actually ran them for quite some time, ran them for about 5 years. But after that, it's all been seed. After that, I haven't had any more clones come in. And I'm scared now. I hear the horror stories out in the community. I'm like, no, I'm good. But if you got a seed, I'll take a seed.
I like seeds too. So clones, you pretty much know what you're getting. And when it's like super fire, you're stoked because you're like, this is the super fire. But with seeds, it's hit or miss sometimes. It depends on where you're going for the seeds. But I really like that search. I really like the ability to get like a slight remix of something that you were looking for, like the cheese.
Mm-hmm.
I can call somebody a few steps removed and get the real Exodus cheese cut. And I love Exodus cheese, but I have the seeds and I'm hunting the seeds right now just because I want just that little, like that remix, that little thing to be like, this is, the Washington cheese or whatever they would, whatever you could say.
Something just a little bit different that you can kind of not call your own, but
you can roll with it then. Yeah, because then I can start working it with other things and other lines, and that's probably another conversation. Just the amount of time it takes to do these things to actually like put your fingerprint on something for real. But yeah, that's the direction that I want to go, and I hope I will be going. I'm going to do the cheese times the Westport grape juice crosses probably in a couple months, and then I'll have to see what it gets. And I want to try maybe back cross. I don't know if I'm going to line breed or back cross, but I'm talking about myself now. You guys are the guests. I want to talk about you.
That's
guys.
okay. You just keep talking, sir. I'm listening. I'm just absorbing it all here.
Well, I want to ask Cbunny. Yep, I want to ask Cbunny, how has your process been? Did you start with clones or do you start with seeds? Do you have a preference?
So I started feminized, and I'm actually on my second auto run right now. My first auto run went great. There was hype to them. It was amazing. So I tried, let's do it. I figured, let's do it again. They're nice. They're just a lot smaller. I ran into more problems. Normally I would just run feminized, and I do like, there's the pro and cons. I do like that it finishes a lot quicker because I am a heavy smoker, so it's nice to have that right away.
Yeah.
But like you guys were saying earlier with autos, if you mess up, you do not have that time to fix it. And out of the 2 years I've been growing, all my feeds have been the same except for this one. And I think I may have ruined one by overfeeding it when she wasn't ready, but the others were.
That happens. That definitely happens. That's one thing about growing just multiple strains in a tent too. And then when you you get the different sizes. Sometimes if it's a testing run, I'll cut the small ones. I'll cut the runts out because I don't want to have to mix special nutrients. I don't want to have to water it on special days aside from everybody else. So
sometimes you get that one finicky one. It might even be bigger than the rest of them, but it just doesn't like the same feeding schedule that the rest of them do. Sometimes it wants more, sometimes it wants less.
Yes.
And
I
you
never
don't know
ran
until
into that problem until this run. So it's been interesting.
And that's where it helps picking up the pots for me. Like I still do that. I'll be like, okay, you need the full water today. Nope, you're the one in the corner that's drinking like at 2/3 the rate of everything else. And I could tell when I pick them up. So
that's what I do too by checking. I lift up the pots.
Yeah, something so basic is so handy and used like worldwide. Whether you're just starting or you've been doing it forever, you're like, okay, full water.
Yeah. Well, we've all picked up a heavy solo cup before and a light solo cup, so you know what the difference is there. Yeah, so you're like, okay, so this one doesn't need any water, and it's nice to be able to train your brain to that. When you're just in solo cups, keep a empty solo cup with just dry soil, so you can feel it. Okay, this is when it's dry. This is when it's full, so you can just train your brain to it. And once you've got that, because I feel overwatering is probably one of the biggest ones when they're little. You can drown them out so quickly. Such a nerve-wracking stage. And so to be able to
bottom feed like solo cups.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I do the double solo cup method, like the clear one on the inside and then the red one on the outside, or blue or whatever color.
Yeah.
And I cut holes in the pot with the plant in it, and then the other one I just usually, it's not right when they're seedlings. Obviously, you got to add water in there because the roots aren't down to the bottom yet. But when I notice that the roots are about halfway down, I like to just add just a little bit of water in there, and then set the cup back inside the other cup, and then check it in 20 minutes. And if they're still puddle down there, then I dump it out and then
Right.
go
And then
about
it's
my
full.
day.
Well, you're
But if-
probably also training the roots to go. You like to train your roots down, don't you?
I do.
Yep. Get them to grow down, get them to grow around. And yeah, I mean, roots are one of those things. Bigger the roots, the bigger the fruits, right?
That's
That's
right.
right.
That's right.
Yep. So actually, this is probably actually a perfect chance right now. I just want to mention Recharge. You know, I've been working with Recharge lately, and they're sponsoring me and some of the videos. And so I just want to let everybody know, y'all can go and save some money, whether it's the Recharge, whether it's the Grow Dots, whether it's the Real Buckets. You can go to the realgrowers.com website and you can save. Just use the discount code Westport. If you're using this link here, it doesn't automatically add the 10% savings. So I just want to let you guys know, still add the word Westport into the checkout when you go, and then you'll save some money there. But it's like, you know, if you want stronger, healthier plants, you really should check out Recharge. And for a lot of us doing this organically, we kind of all know it's the microbes that make the magic happen. And I'm not spoiling anything here. That's what Recharge is all about. So yeah, definitely get your microbes on. Water with Recharge once a week. Bigger roots, bigger fruits, which is what we're all after. So yeah, head over to the website there if you guys like, and spread the word too. I'm going to be completely honest here. I always am, but it's always weird when people say, let me be honest, but you still do that just like out of habit. It's weird.
Don't believe what I just said. Just start believing.
I know. This, yeah. Everything else has been bullshit this whole show. I do want to let everybody know that I do get a small percent, not a small percent. I get a percentage on the back end from all of the sales that go through the Westport discount code. So that's cool. If you like the products, you want to help support me as well. You know, again, shout out to Scotty Real for kind of hooking me up and helping me out. It's a product I use. And he's like, could you help me here? And we can help you. And I'm like, well, yeah, let's do that.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's awesome.
And if it's a product you use and stand by, then absolutely.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And that is a 100% like fact. You guys are not going to see me promoting or really talking from a position of authority on something that I haven't used at least for a full run. Like I'll get products from people and then they're like, cool, make me a video. And I'm like, but I haven't used it. So how do I even freaking know? And there are more companies that I have not made videos for than the ones you actually see. And that's because I'm going to be honest. And I get back to these people and I say, here's my opinion. I'm happy to make that video if you still want it made. And that's usually the end of the conversation. So there are things you guys don't see. But yeah, when I do put something up or I talk about it, it's because I'm using it myself. So that's that.
That's something that these companies have to realize too. Like,
yeah,
we're not going to put our name on something that we don't trust.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that will.
Exactly.
There's a lot of people that will, but
there is, but you know,
not worth
personally,
it. Not worth it.
I'm speaking personally, I guess. Like I won't. I just won't. So, like you said, you know, if you want my opinion, it's going to be an honest opinion, and you might not like my answer.
Yeah.
You know, I'm one out of a million people that have used this product. Maybe I used it wrong. So I like to give everything 2 tries. I like to go for, I find like your first run is like your learning curve with this product, this new product, and mixing it in with some of the other stuff you're using. And then your next run is like, okay, now I actually know how to use this product properly. And now I can give you an honest. So if you're willing to wait for it, great. But if you want my opinion now, it's not great.
Yeah,
You know.
That's a very, very excellent point, because that is the little nuance of it. You know, whether it's genetics or a product, the first run, if something doesn't go right, I always blame user error. I always blame myself, whether I can find a reason for it or not. always benefit of the doubt goes to, you know, the breeder or whoever. But yeah, run it the second time. You're able to pay extra special attention, tighten things up as much as possible. And if you still get the same results, well, yeah, you know.
Well, then you know, it's conclusive at that point, right? You've tried it, you've tested it, and right?
Yep. Now, one of the products I actually have sitting here waiting to make a video on, and I know I'm gonna bring it up because I know that you've used it before, and it's something that I've been interested in. And I feel really bad because when they sent me the product, I'm like, yeah, let's, you know, do a show about it because I'd love to actually learn more. I'm not that I know the basics. I can hold a conversation, but I don't make them, and I know there's a lot more that I'm missing.
Yeah.
But I haven't done that. I haven't had the time yet, which sounds stupid because it's just making questions. But I haven't had the time yet, so hopefully that's coming up. But I'll bring it up here because we'll talk about it here. But the Vermibeck worm compost, and this is something that you actually use, Mama Kush. So the worm castings here, I'll just
actually we've all used.
We've all used them.
Have all, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, you've all used them. So tell me, okay, so my first question, one of the first questions I was going to ask is, okay, so it's basically just like a fine powder. It's like coffee grounds. It's, you know, you'll sprinkle it in. How are you using it? Are you like amending it into your soil and mixing it up and then planting? Or do you plant and then do you just put a scoop on the top like you're top dressing it? Like, how are you using your worm castings? And I'm sure there may be more than one correct way to do it. So if you guys want to just go around the horn, please help me.
Well, yes and yes. Yeah, you go ahead. You could start. Yes and
you go.
Okay, yeah, yes and yes. You put it in. You can put it in your soil. You can put it as a top dressing. You can make it a tea. There's so many different ways, but it's just pure worm castings. And they're so fresh when you put them in. And I was warning Heaven from Hi again on this because she was talking about worm castings. And I told her, I said, if your worm castings are fresh, you may end up with worms in your pot. So there may
little
be
eggs.
Yeah,
the
cocoons.
little cocoons in there.
Yeah. And you might not see it, and you top dress it in, and then you go to transplant, and all of a sudden you got worms in your pot. So just be careful. And Vermibeck are very, very, very fresh, and this has happened to me. So
okay.
Vermibeck is actually the only worm castings I've used that I've actually found worms in.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I've used a few different types, and his are literally the only ones I've ever used that I found little baby worms.
I've poured them out. Yeah, there's little baby worms in there. They're so fresh. Yep.
That's exciting. And I'm glad you mentioned it too, because when I use these, if I do go to transplant and there's a worm in there, my mind, it would have been blown for like days. I'd be like, how did it happen? Okay. So thank you for helping me on that one.
Hey, no problem.
Saving me a few days of like,
you know what the nematodes look like when you put nematodes into your soil? That's kind of like what the worm cocoon looks like.
Oh wow.
So it's just like this little pellet almost.
You could actually well Andrew from Vermibeck, he actually started me on my first. I have a worm bin that I put my recycled foods in, and then I transfer it into my garden, and I've got, you know, I do the composting. Ganiks says we've got the vermicompost going in our garages, but I forgot where I was going with that. Shoot. The weed's working.
It may come back to you. See, there we go.
The cocoons.
Yeah.
So he knew I didn't like touching worms. And I'm like, no, I can't do worms. No. And he's like, no, you can do cocoons. I'm like, okay. So he sent me a little vial about this big, and it had about, I don't know, 5-10 different cocoons in the vial. And so I poured them. I'm like, because I can't do worms. I can't touch worms. So I pour out the vial in my hand, and I go to take a picture, and I realized one of the cocoons had hatched, and I literally had a wiggly worm in my hand. I was not impressed. But I got through it.
I do believe I saw a video of you, Carrie.
Yeah. I heard they were
Papa
good.
Kush was here, we'd have it queued up.
Oh yeah, it would have already been going. But what I did is I took those cocoons and I put them in my 5-gallon pots. So then I didn't actually have to really touch the worms. I mean, I touched the baby, but really I just touched the
Yeah.
eggs. And I put those in my 5-gallon pots, and then I just did nothing different. I just watered my plants, and then we actually had quite a colony of worms inside my 5-gallon pot. And they'll self-regulate. They'll only grow as much as
Right.
the pot. Yeah. Oh, worms are fascinating now. I'm all about the worms now. Don't get me
That would
touching them,
be
but I like to learn about them.
use gloves. That
Yeah.
that sounds like a really good answer too for people doing like the grassroots or the fabric pot or the beds inside, like
Yes.
grassroots fabric pots, but beds inside because you're kind of introducing your own worms potentially through that.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
pretty
So
cool. And it's
don't get creeped out if you find a fresh baby in there.
or don't trip out on it for 3 days, like thinking that the aliens came in at night and they communicated with like the rats. And
Oh, you could do that.
they
That's
planted
cool.
it, man.
Yeah.
It's a plant.
Eclectic.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a riot.
So, one of the things that I have seen, because I know a lot of people that have used worm castings in the past. It's a great additive, especially when you're doing the organics. Again, myself not having used them regularly, one of the things that I see people using it for, I see a lot of people using it in veg, and it tends to green up the plants a little bit. Like maybe there's high nitrogen in there. What I don't know, what triggers you to apply it, or what things do you see when you apply it in the plant that you're like, yeah, this stuff is working?
I add worm castings actually quite a bit, to be honest. It's one of those things that it's like you almost can't give it too much.
Okay.
Like when they say
That's
it's
good to
black
know.
gold, like it's really black gold. It really is. I always add it into my soil when I do my initial mix with my amendments, like I was talking about earlier. But then I always do the top dress when I reapply everything, when I do the top dressing. And I also do teas. So
With the
you can also
actual,
buy with
how do you make a
actual.
tea?
So Vermabec actually has these bags that you can buy. He calls them the Vermabec worm casting
Worm
tea bags.
casting teas.
Tea bags.
So
Yep.
he sells them in packs of 4, and it's already pre-measured and everything. And he I don't know if he's still doing it or not, but for a little while he was giving out the little vials of molasses as well, which has already been pre-measured out to the size of that tea bag.
Okay, nice.
So I add the tea bag in. I usually do 2 of them into it, and you can dilute it if you want to later on. So I do like a 5-gallon pail, and I fill it up with my water, tap water, let it bubble for 24 hours, and then I add my tea bag into it with the molasses. I also add a few other things into it, like the Alaskan fish fertilizer. You can add in like seaweed extract or like kelp meal, stuff like that. You can add that in as well. And then you just add a bubbler in and just let it bubble for like 24 to 48 hours. And when you start seeing that froth on the top,
Okay, I know that.
not the little bubbles, but when it actually turns into like a foam. When it turns into a foam, you're ready to rock. That's when your tea is alive and you're good to go. So I do that once a week, once every 2 weeks kind of thing.
Okay.
And they love it. You can use it as a foliar spray if you want to, as long as you're not adding in a bunch of other stuff. If you're just doing the worm casting tea with nothing added into it, you can do a foliar spray with it. You can do a soil drench with it. And like you said, the plants just love it. They just go this color of green that you've never seen before.
Yeah.
And that's healthy because that helps with the photosynthesis and that helps everything. So it sounds like you can't really over apply it, which is good. There's a number of ways you can apply it, whether you wanted to mix it in the soil or whether you just wanted the top dress, or actually now foliar too. So
it's really safe.
Is there a like preferred time? Like is veg, you stop at the end of veg or do you carry into flower?
I do it all.
Is there a good time to cut it?
All through.
All through? Okay.
All through. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I'll give it about last top dressing when I do my 3rd week defoliation in flower, that last big defol, and then you kind of let things go. And I pretty much won't add anything additional past that point, but not because I won't. It's just because I'm not top dressing anything else. So I don't usually add more because it's more nitrogen at that point too. But the plant knows what to do. It's not like you give it and it's going to go, oh, nitrogen and flower. It's just an amendment. So it'll have the nitrogen there, but the plant won't take it up because it doesn't need it.
Right.
So it's not like a liquid
So
food
at
where
that
you're
point,
like
I
forcing
think
it to
like,
eat.
if you're doing a no-till and you're adding that into it, you're just kind of
Mhm.
adding the nutrients is in there, and it's just kind of breaking down into the soil, whether your plant's getting it or not.
Like I said, I had it
And
all in my
you
pots.
yank it out
And
and plant a new one, and you're good to go again. Because the
if you've got
nutrients are
live
still
worms in
there
your
and available.
pots, they're pooping the whole time that they're in your
Yep.
pot. So they don't stop pooping because you're in flower.
This is true, but it smells like flowers. No, that's a question.
I gotta
Does
stop
worm
now.
poop smell? Does worm poop smell? Am I gonna have to hide this like from my wife and
Nope.
mix it in the bathroom with fan on and then run over and dump it in? No.
No,
No,
you
it
might
just
get
smells like earth. It smells like
earth.
dirt.
It smells earthy, yeah.
Yeah.
It smells earthy.
I'll
And
just say
even-
it's not
even having a-
choppa, man.
But even having a compost bin, having a vermicompost bin does not smell at all. I have it right here, right inside my right beside my grow tents. And
Oh, wow.
I put our leftover eggshells, coffee grounds, food, whatever in there, cover it up, keep it moist, and the worms just go to town. And then they leave their castings. And so then I just keep feeding them. I'll just keep bringing the feeding zone closer to the other end, and then I just harvest from the back end. I just scoop it up, throw it in my plants.
Wow.
Yeah, they'll eat on one side and
Crafty.
poop on the other. So you only
Yeah.
feed them on one side. And then
Yeah.
whatever side their food is on, they'll go over to the other side and do their business.
Damn.
Pretty cool.
They may be
no smell, no composting smell, and the worms they seem to clean up everything. You can throw old soil. You got some old dry up soil. You're like, yeah, I don't know. This might have too much salt in it. I'm not sure. Throw it in there.
Right.
They will take care of it. They will clean it all
Well,
out.
Andrew from Vermaback actually told us a story. He was on our show one time, and he told us a story. He threw an old hat, like a baseball cap, and the only thing that was left of it when it was done was the metal button on the top. They ate the rest.
ate everything. Everything. Yeah.
That's
He threw an
scary.
old pair of boxer shorts in there. They ate those too.
Right?
Like everything. You can throw your dryer lint in there. You can vacuum your house and empty your
hair.
vacuum into it. They'll eat it all.
When you clean out your brush, because I know you got long hair too.
Okay.
When you clean out your brush,
Yeah.
right? You go to throw it in the garbage. Well, you could throw that in your worm bin, and that's carbon for them. So they'll actually break down your hair and stuff because it's carbon. And
But I'm building a sweater out of my hair, and I need.
Hey, you do you. But the worms, we'll take care of it if need be.
Oh shoot! I will. I'll do me.
When Andrew came on, our minds were blown that night. Like him and I, we just went like, how do we get these in our houses? And then he went nuts. He got cocoons, like 1,000,001 different cocoons because they weren't growing fast enough. And then he's like, no, I need a pound of worms. So he got all these cocoons, and then he got the pound of worms. So the cocoons eventually hatched. So now he's got worms jumping over his compost bin. They're like literally jump. Do you know worms jump? Worms jump.
So they really like kelp meal as like a treat to feed them. So I took some Gaia green kelp meal one time, and I just sprinkled it on like half of, like I said, you feed them on the one half, right? And they had all been like climbing up the sides of the bin and stuff like that. And when I dumped this in there, I don't know if they could smell. I don't know how they sense this. I don't know. But they were like literally diving off the side of the bin, and they were like catching each other on their way down, and it was like an old cartoon fist fight where you just see arms and legs come out. They were like rolling down, or like the snowball, and it just kept getting bigger and bigger as it got to the bottom. And then they went nuts. Like worms were coming from every direction going for this kelp meal, and they just went absolutely ape shit over this.
kind of,
It was
I'm
pretty
starting
cool
to get
watch.
Mama Cush's like, I'm starting to get her like phobia of worms now.
Oh no! It just ruined
Funny
Chad
you mention-
Westport.
Yeah, this is ruined. I thought I was going to use them. No, I will. And it's funny you mentioned that because I wanted to bring up 71DPO, good friend of the show. He has been using worms for a long time, and he's had bins, and he's showed me the process, and he's tried to convert me and get it all going. But I remember there was one time where he had an incident, and I don't know if it was like weather related, whether it was like a thunderstorm or a heat or something. But all of his worms like jumped out. They just migrated. They're like, maybe it was too hot of an amendment. I forgot what it was.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I've heard that before
could be,
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where they just jump out of their little
Jump out.
bin. And
Yeah.
if they're in
Well,
the house, man, do you have like a spill tray that they would collect in, or are they just all
No,
over?
they're in my garage. They're just gonna fall on the
Okay.
floor. Then I'll take my leaf blower and I'll push them out the door.
That works.
Put them back in your worm bin. If they do climb out and they dry up, like they don't make it very far. Like they need that soil to be in, right? So if they're wiggling around
Yeah,
on the floor or something like
I've
that,
never had a problem.
they got nowhere to
I've never
hide.
had a problem.
So if you got
just
two or
gotta
three
find
of them
dead
that
worms.
have died and dried up outside of your worm bin, you just put them back in, and
Throw 'em back.
they just
And then
go back into
they'll
the
take care of
soil.
themselves. Yeah.
Awesome.
Worms
All
are an
right.
interesting thing, man. Like you can go down a whole rabbit
Oh.
hole just on
Mhm.
worms. Like you should try that sometime. Just type in worms, worm casting, anything like that. Just
Vermicomposting.
watch what comes up. Vermicomposting. There you go. So then you just watch what
Vermicomposting.
comes from that, and it's crazy where you go.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. And again, that's another one of these organic ingredients that the plants
Mhm.
enjoy that you can produce by yourself at home using scraps, stuff you were already throwing away. So it's a good long run type of thing. That's why I haven't set up worm bins yet, is because like plants,
really
it takes
simple.
patience. It takes patience though. I want them to poop now.
Well, no, all you have to do is order 100 cocoons and then a pound of worms, and boom,
And you'll have 10
jumping
million.
all over the place.
Well, and each one cocoon doesn't just hatch one worm. I think Vermabec told us it was 3 to 6 worms per cocoon or something like that. So every one cocoon that you have, it's not guaranteed that you're going to get 3 to 6, but the majority of them will do somewhere between 3 and 6 worms per cocoon. I think I had like, by the end of it, I think I was projected to get about 2,000 worms or something on the low end of the cocoons that I had, and they weren't hatching. So I was like, I need a pound of worms. So he sent me a pound of worms, and I put those in there. And then next thing you know, I literally had like 9 million worms in my bin.
That's because I've heard they reproduce basically just by rubbing against each other. So when they're in that big ball, they're making.
That's what you want.
Babies.
Is the you want that big worm ball. You want them to
And I think it
congregate
takes
in one spot.
3 months for a worm to mature to the point where they can reproduce.
And red wigglers is where it's at, right? Because I know there's a lot of different worms out there, but red wigglers is the one that I hear with associated.
Yeah, they're the composting worms, and they work the top area where we want them, right? So they come up where I think a night crawler would go right down to the bottom of the soil. So some people you do both. I've seen people do both, where they have the night crawlers on one level and then the red wigglers on the top. But yeah, the red wigglers, that's what you want.
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
the shit.
Yep. And I'm froze. I don't know if you guys can tell that or not.
Yeah. I just thought you were really interested in what I was saying.
Okay. Well, you can actually hear me, so that's at least a plus. I'll roll with it. I'll roll blind right now. My camera is acting up, but you can hear me. And it's actually probably a good time. I wanted to, I'm going to do another giveaway here real quick. God, it would help if I could see my screen. But I also want to get into the garden tour too. We take a quick look at the garden. Maybe if you get a chance, stop by the worm bin on the way. But let me Oh gosh, I'm gonna try to. Oh, my computer's just not.
Well, what I'll do is
Moment.
I will log in under my phone, and then I can walk over there and take you in. So if you want to let the other Mama Kush come in.
Yeah, well, let me. I'm breaking out a second computer at the moment right now.
I'll head. I'll just walk over there, so you can just let me in when you're ready.
Okay. Gosh darn it, guys! I'm sorry. We're going to be giving away some more seeds here, and we're going to be doing the garden tour once I get my screen fixed. You know what? I can't even hit refresh on the page. Okay, technical difficulties. That's always fun. They're great.
It happens.
That just shows how real it is.
That's right.
Yeah, right. Why is it just Google Chrome, damn it? Okay. Oh, no, don't leave the site. I almost hung up on you guys. Let's see here. Maybe that will help. I'm going to dip out for a second and try to solve this. I should be right back and the show should continue. If you want to take bets on that in chat, please do, because anybody's guess is as good as mine right now. But let me just try to go ham here and see if I can come.
All right, so he left us alone. Boy, he doesn't know what he's doing.
This is where we need Papa to go, nah, nah, nah.
Right? Okay, so I think I have the other camera set up. So if whenever he's ready, he can bring that camera in, and I'll have my gloves ready for my worm bin here. Get that. I'll get that set up. We'll see if we can get through.
I'm gonna take a minute. Oops.
Oh, I'm not even gonna do anything until we're on camera. But I got my gloves ready. Oh my goodness. This is so fun, you guys.
It is.
I want to thank the chat. You guys are awesome. You know, this is pretty amazing. The chat that I can't even follow it. It's going so fast. There we go. I'm back. Can you hear me okay now?
Yes, we can hear you.
So
fine.
I've got the perfect. Yeah. The other camera's all set up, so ready to go whenever he's ready to pull that Mama Kush in. And I've got that going on my phone over there. And I have the worm bin all peeled back and ready to go. My gloves, so we can have a peek at the worms. Maybe we'll see some worms.
Yes.
They're not. I don't have as many
exciting.
worms right now because it's winter, and they don't reproduce as quickly in the colder months. So
they get cold. Yeah.
Yeah. And they kind of go into they just start moving slow. I notice they're right next to the heater. They're fine.
Welcome back.
Oh my God. Thank you for taking over the show.
Welcome back to the Chad Westport show. I'm host Mama Kush.
That's awesome. Well, please do continue. Don't let me interrupt the flow here. I will go ahead and add this in.
I'm still on a worm rant.
Good. I'm glad. And I'm glad we actually got to talk, or I got to talk with people who have used the vermin bank compost before, worm castings, because that, is important to me. And again, these are some of the questions I had for Andrew. So thank you for helping me. And I hope other people in the chat are appreciating it too. A lot of people I've seen that are using worms as well. So
I'm gonna plug something because I do have a code. You can save 10% with code MAMA for vermin back.
Yes, let's put that in. Let me go down to the bottom. I can make a banner for that. I will MAMMA.
Oh, HTC has one too. Yes, I forgot about that.
Okay, I could type.
You can type one in here. You can go with the mama one.
MAMMA. Is that all they need to enter? Just mama?
Yep, and they can save 10%.
Okay.
We don't get anything back for that. That's just we're supporting the community. So save you a little at checkout.
Yeah, and that's another reason why I do like doing or accepting some products. Like there's things
Yeah.
I know I would never use. There's companies I know I would never support, but supporting people who are doing this kind of really out of passion.
Yeah.
I always try to look to those people first. And if you have a good product, cool, I'll keep using it. If you have a bad product, it's what it is.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll try to offer my input. But yeah, so supporting smaller companies is how we all kind of rise to the top, because there's always going to be the big companies, and you know what, whether we shop with them or not, they will not miss our
Right.
So go to someone who maybe can appreciate it a little bit more if they deliver on the quality of goods. So I like that. So thank you for sharing that. And again, I'm going to be anxious to try those. It's nice talking with you because you guys have the firsthand experience, and that's so important. It's firsthand experience with all of this
just
stuff.
don't be freaked out if you find a worm. It'll happen.
Yeah, good fair warning. Oh, shoot. All right. Would you like to take us on a little tour? I will blow this.
I will
up
pop
here.
over here.
Oh, let me
So these are these guys are getting ready to go into 5-gallon pots. So I have my pots already. I'm Atlas. What are they?
Come on, Mama, you gotta move. You gotta move like you're high.
Oh, sorry.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
I will forever use that description now, Mr. Ganiks. That's awesome.
That's Mama's line every Grow Me Gardens that we do when they start getting a little glitchy when they hit the 10. She just tells everybody, move like you're high.
Move
That's
like you're
awesome.
high.
I like it.
So so these are the pink grapefruit from Apple Seed, and I'm doing actually a grow along with it's a grow off actually with Skinaman and Shark Mouse Farms on Instagram. So this is, and we have some amazing growers in this grow along. So I don't think I'm gonna win or anything, but it's there. You know, I'll try.
Anything's possible.
Yep, and this is just in my little 2x2 tent.
Nice.
And I have my Sparta Farmer 1000.
Okay, I've used those in the 2x2 as well.
This is the fan, the rotating fan. I'm so happy. You know.
Now on top of the soil there, I've never seen blonde soil. So what do we have on top of the pots there?
That is straw mulch.
Okay.
So here, let's see. So this is just a straw mulch because I have worms in here. So they like to keep the top moist. They like to keep it moist. Actually, it looks like I got a water. But I'm just prepping the pots.
Yeah.
So it's just straw mulch. And so when I water it, it just stays nice and moist for the worms, because then the worms can come up from the soil. They can come up and then eat all the top dressing, and then they bring it back down into the soil for the roots.
Okay. Yeah. That is awesome, because that's something that we probably didn't mention earlier, but something that's probably extra important is you got to make sure the soil stays wetter than normal, because the worms and the life in there. So those gnarly drybacks we talked about earlier with the hydrophobic soil, not good for the worm population.
Not good. See, look, I got my glove on. We'll try and see. It's dark in here. I'm sorry, but we'll see if we can do it. So this is my worm bin. So it's just a bin, right? Worm it back. It's it's dirty. I got to clean that. I wasn't expecting the worm bin to be on TV. So on here, I just have some old soil. This is the top of a Gaia Green bag, because there was still some dry amendments in it. So I'm just using that as a little bit of a top layer. And I'll just peel this back. And you can see there's like a little bit of a fuzz on here. What I did is I fed the worms. Ganiks was talking about the kelp meal. Well, this is barley. So this is pearl barley I had from my pantry that I just ground up. And it turns into this mycelium in here. And then the worms come up and absolutely love it. So we'll see. I'm going to dig down and see if we can find a worm.
I want to see you pull one out and hold one between your fingers.
No. No, we won't do that. Anything wiggling in there? No, I was explaining to Bunny in the winter they slow down a little bit because it gets a little colder.
Yeah, I'd imagine that does make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, they go down to
There
the
might be
bottom
one
when
in
it's
there.
probably a little bit warmer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So it doesn't look like I'm gonna get a worm, but that's the worm bin. There's absolutely no smell whatsoever. And then all I
Good.
do is I just have a little bit of newspaper, and we fight with over top, and just to keep the humidity in there for them, because we dry out quite a bit. And then the lid is just, I have some holes driven in here.
Okay.
Like
So
that,
there's
they
no
get some breathing room.
moisture
And
buildup.
they have never come out of here. They've never escaped or anything.
Nice.
That tells
So
me
there
you're
you
getting
go.
something right in there, because
Yeah,
I
you can just
at
leave
one
this-
point had my worms kept trying to escape. And then I realized I learned by asking questions to Vermabec and a few other people that did the whole
Yeah.
worm thing as well, where there was obviously something in there
Yeah.
that they didn't like, whether it was temperature, whether it was too dry, whether it was too wet, whether I was feeding too much, whatever it was, something I was doing they didn't like. So they were all trying to climb out the sides. And then as soon as I changed a few things, they didn't do that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, they can be temperamental. They can be temperamental, but there's no smell
They're
to
like
it.
your plants.
There's no mess, you know?
They're like your plants. They tell you when they're unhappy, and when they're unhappy, they're trying to escape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and which nobody wants. So keep them happy. And that's
Right?
gosh,
Yeah, keep 'em
that is
happy.
good to know the reasons. Again, a lot of this just
Yeah.
all comes down to, whether it's the worms or the plants, is observation. Observation and time are really the two best teachers,
Yeah, you just gotta watch. You just gotta pay attention. It all speaks to you. You just gotta watch for the
Mhm.
signs.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's
You just gotta know what to
where
look
we
for.
love. Yeah, and that comes over time, and a lot of, or at least I started this way, and I usually will recommend new growers try it too, but maybe find like a water-only soil, something where you don't have to necessarily work on feeding it for the first few runs,
Yeah.
but also with the knowledge that you're going to become deficient at some point in that run. You'll still be able to harvest. You'll still have, good smokable personal consumption flour that will get you through to the next run. But I always like to find where that line is. And particularly, again, when you're using organics, you have to find that line, because organics, you need to be thinking 2 or 3 weeks ahead.
Yeah.
And if you don't know where that line is, then, it's still guessing. But yeah, so the first, year or
Keeping a
so,
book
I
is-
wasn't feeding.
It's essential
Yeah.
if you're growing organic. Keeping notes is essential, because you might forget the last time you top dressed, because you just top dressed and ran out of there and had to do something. And then, all of a sudden it's been 5 weeks and you're getting into deficiencies now. I forgot.
Yeah. So, I know, it's like, how many people in chat or on here can remember what they ate for lunch last Tuesday? Did I top dress last week, or did I not top dress?
Yeah. And it, it
That's a good way to
happens. We're
look at it, isn't it?
stoners. But we're stoners. It happens. Like, short-term memory is not our forte.
Exactly. Exactly.
But I never forget when it's time to smoke another one. That's one thing I never.
Hey,
Yes.
I'll do that.
It's instinctual. It's like our caveman days coming up.
Yeah. And I've been forgetting the giveaways here. And Doctor, is there a give? Did I hear giveaway? Leave me alone. Is it here? No slacking, Chad Westport, bro. No slacking. So let's give away another pair of seeds, and we're gonna do 2 more before the show is out. So thank you, Doctor. Thank you for coming by, and thank you for behaving.
Sorry,
sir.
we tend to hijack conversations and start going in different directions. So I apologize, sir.
Do not worry. When you're having fun, you're having fun. And
Right.
speaking of last night, we had a lot of fun over on your channel. Maybe do you guys want to, while I'm doing getting this next giveaway going, can you tell everybody where they can find you, when they can find you?
Bunny?
Bunny?
You
could find us on Homegrow, oh my God, I forgot. Homegrow the Community
Homegrow the
official on YouTube.
Official. Yep.
Yes, on YouTube, all space. And we have every Wednesday, we have interviews, and Fridays are Grow Me Gardens, where everybody is welcome to come on and show what you got growing on. And we also are on Instagram under Homegrow the Community official.
Awesome.
And
I
Spotify.
do have...
And
yes,
Spotify.
And Spotify.
Yeah.
Under,
we've made the move over there.
Yes, it's under HGTC podcast on Spotify.
Awesome. I'm just pulling up your page here now for people. Okay, so I'll go ahead and share that screen real quick. And then they know what they're looking for when they get to the page.
Yeah, the Spotify podcasts are only the interviews, not Grow Me Gardens. So it's just the interviews we do on Wednesdays. We
Just
load
our
up
Wednesday show.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, all interviews are at
That's
9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and Grow Me Gardens is also 9 p.m. Eastern Time.
Yes.
Very cool.
Yeah,
And you
and-
guys
yeah,
have been
we had
having some excellent lineups.
We have.
Mr.
It's been
Grow
quite
It.
the.
I think I see Chad
We got-
Westport in there. I think Chad Westport
Yeah.
was on the show once.
Yeah,
He's
I
been on
think
a
Yep,
so.
there we
couple
go.
of
Now I'm on the page. Lives. Let me go to the lives. There we go.
Yeah,
last
pretty much
week,
Thunder Lives.
Mr. Grow It. Yeah. I
Yep.
find it there.
Yeah, we got to hang
Chad
out with Mr.
Westport.
Grow It on Wednesday, the previous Wednesday,
Yes.
Mr. Westport, and then we had Hi again.
Yes.
Like unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. Jeff from Mad
Yeah.
Hatter, Rod
Oh,
from
I love that guy.
CLTV. Oh
Yes.
my
So
goodness.
cool. So cool.
I
So
just-
definitely worth checking
Like
out.
I'm fangirling so hard with just everybody in the lineup. I'm like, no, we're getting them. No.
Well,
And
you
You
know
have to
what?
pick me
This
up off the
Wednesday.
floor.
This Wednesday
This
coming up, we have Basement Grow Show, correct?
Grower
Yes.
Joe's coming.
Grower
coming
Joe.
on Wednesday. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And then
Very
Friday,
nice.
Grow Me Gardens. We want to see what everybody has growing on. So I always tease, like, get your Friday night legs, get those girls cleaned up before they come on the show on Friday nights.
And you don't have to show your face if you're not comfortable. We're just here to look at the garden. So
You don't even have to talk to us if you don't want to.
No.
Just show us your garden. We can talk.
We'll talk for you.
We'll take care.
We'll narrate.
Well, that's
We're gonna bring Chad Westport in to do all the narrations
Mhm.
for us.
Yeah.
that's right. I still need to message Mr. Grow It after the fact. He's like, so
Yes.
I hear you're looking for a narrator. You
Yeah.
got silky smooth compression over here. So yeah, you guys have inspired the giveaway word for this next one. This next one, we are going to do another son of a bitch. Whoops, not you. Another son of a bitch. Sorry about that. All right, we are going to do another son of a bitch seed giveaway. A big shout out to him for hooking us up. He sent us a bunch of beans to give away. This is the purple meds. They are regular beans, so purple meds. If you follow Mr. Magpie, he has recently harvested some of those purple meds, and they look freaking beautiful and smell beautiful. But another awesome thing that he sent out for everybody is these loops. So it's the grade A some bitch seeds. But if you pop this out here, you get all of the Ooh, look at me. I am big.
That is
You
so
get all
cool.
of the magnifications to scout your things. And this is where the preliminary scouts start. If I'm looking at a plant, if I have a question, I always pull out something like this. And then
Yes.
for the pictures of the aphid that I got, I use a device like this. And this thing only cost me, I don't know, I think $40-$50, but it gets the most amazing trichome shots. It gets the freaking damn aphid shots, which I wish I didn't have. But in case you're wondering if you missed it, that's what it looks like.
Ow.
So it's pretty good. But for this giveaway, though, we'll skip back to this giveaway. We're gonna do the beans. We're gonna do this, and the
I like
message
that
or the
son of a
word
bitch.
to type in is.
I like that he
inspired.
sent the jeweler's link too. That's cool.
Yeah.
I really like that. Yes.
That's really neat.
Yeah,
That's a nice little
this
touch.
is
Good
such.
times.
Good.
Everybody needs one,
times.
right? Everybody needs one. That's
Mhm.
the first thing he did. It's rad because he sent me a box of these, so I have enough to give out, and I have enough to have been like, do you mind if I keep one for myself? So he's like, yeah. So I've got this always sitting.
Oh, that's awesome.
by the side. But I'll give you guys a brand new one in a box. Good times. If you are in the US, just go ahead and type good times into the chat, and shortly we will draw. Again, we were just mentioning, your YouTube page and where to find you guys on YouTube. I need to enter that into the show notes, but I do have Instagrams for each and every one of you. So Home Grow the Community, I've got that up there. Mama Kush, Mr. Ganiks, and Cbunny Grow. I have all of your Instagrams in the show notes. So if people out there in the chat, you guys want to connect, definitely connect. Hit them up. The links are right there. And they're the right links too. That's a hard thing to get. So, they're the right ones. I've communicated.
Yeah,
with
there
them
is
back and
there is
forth.
there is at least one Home Grow the Community page out there on Instagram that's it is ours, but it's from a long time ago when Home Grow was first created, and somebody else has the password and everything for it, and we have no access to it. So it's there. It's got about,
Been
I don't
there.
know, 30 or 40 followers on it or something like that. That's not the right page.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's Home Grow the
Yeah.
Community official on
Yeah.
Instagram.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah, just look for the
it'll have-
logo
and
on
it'll have
Mama's
this
shirt.
logo. Yeah,
Yeah.
it'll have this logo on it, so that's the new one.
Yeah. Let's
And I
let's
don't
do
think
that
Home
one
Grow
time.
has
Let me
any-
blow you up big here. What's the logo? Oh, there's the
Home
logo.
Grow the
Yay!
Community, or you can look back here too.
HGTV. Very cool. Very cool. Do you guys have stickers? If somebody wanted stickers, can they hit you up and be like, hey,
We absolutely
can I get
Yeah.
some stickers
Yeah.
to represent
Straight
on
up.
my tent?
Mr. Ganiks.
absolutely do. Yeah, send me a
Awesome.
DM and we'll get them out. The only ones
Cool.
I don't have at the moment are the Mama Kush ones, but those will hopefully be coming in soon.
Yeah, we're gonna be getting an order in and getting refreshing. We just did he did a shout out for stickers and like all gone. I'm like, I have none left now.
We put a story up on Instagram and it was like, just message me if you want some. And it was like, oh, okay, they're gone.
Yeah.
Guess I should have ordered more.
But we're trying to send them all from one place. That way you can get the
Yeah.
Cbunny Grow, you can get the Mama Kush 420, you can get the Mr. Ganiks, and you can get the Home Grow ones, all from one
Yeah.
place.
All a sticker pack. Yeah.
Nice. Nice. I like that. I like the little sticker pack. You kind of collect them all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I dig. Right on. Now, we do have potential of one other tour. I know, Mr. Ganiks, I know you just harvested, so things are not, there's nothing in the garden right now.
Nothing in the garden right now, unfortunately.
Yep. And that's absolutely fine. Harvest is always a good time. Making it to harvest is our goal. So bravo to that.
Mhm.
But Cbunny, did you have a garden that we
I-
could look at today?
I actually do. I just got to make my way down to the basement here. It won't
Awesome.
take me
So
long.
All right.
this is
Yeah.
what
Well,
I
while you
just
do that, I'm going to
did.
show Mr. Ganiks here. So he does have. Ooh. All right. So what are we looking at? Gosh, I want to throw a big old like newspaper wrap around that and light it up. What are we looking at there? I love the color. It's nice and green.
So this is Most Wanted Genetics, and it's called Vaderade, and it's a Garlotti crossed with Baby Yoda.
Ooh.
So I'm not
Yoda.
sure. I'm not sure what the Baby Yoda is, and I'm not 100% sure what the Garlotti is, but I think you hit the nail on the head earlier when you were saying like a gelato garlic something
Yeah.
crossed with this baby Yoda, which again I'm not 100% sure what's even in that, but it is some
Does
of the
it have?
frostiest nugs that I've grown. Like
Wow.
even once they kind of hit that point where you can see the trichomes, you're like, oh my god, there's like not like a few of them. It's covered. It was on my fan leaves. It was just everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah, that's something that to take note of. You're like, okay, you're definitely going to be going. Now that wasn't an auto, was it, or was it?
No, they were photos.
Okay, so you can clone it and keep doing it then.
Yeah. And I do actually have more seeds, and I do want to. It was part of a grow off.
Yeah.
So now I want to
Nice.
actually grow it on my own terms, without any. There wasn't a lot of rules to begin with. But
No.
I want to grow it on my own terms, in my own ways, my own everything, and just see. It's a big
I think that
stretch
would be a
every
nice
spring.
one to try outdoors. I think I might try it again outdoors for the summer. Because if it has that many trichomes, like what can it do outdoors after? Like if it's doing that inside, what's it going to do outside under the
That's
real
kind of
sun?
crazy. There was like 12 of us in that grow off,
Mm-hmm.
and we all had like a time frame when to flip, and I think it was a 2 week period. We had to flip within this 2 week period, and everybody's plants just like tripled in height. They did stretch
Mm-hmm.
so much, and it wasn't just me. It wasn't just Mama. It was everybody. And
Oh yeah, they
I
just
flipped, I think, a little
exploded.
before probably like half the group, and I was like, "You guys get ready for it."
Oh,
It's
but then
stretch.
I was ready to flip. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna flip. Like I'm running out of room here. Like I'm only in a 2x2, right? Like I can go tall, but you know, we're running out of space. And he's like, no, just wait another week. Just wait it, let it veg another week. Just flip them next week. Oh my goodness. This thing was hitting the roof. I had my light up as high as I could possibly get it. I ended up, it started get it touching the light, so I was getting burned. I had to turn the light down, like, you know, but if I had listened to myself and not this guy, I would have been fine. Just saying.
And just goes to show you, everybody. So what did we learn from that, Mama?
And when
Lesson to
they
Canning.
say I'm ready to flip, let them flip.
So here we have a 4x4 tent. It's the AC Infinity tent. I also have the controller. So here, it's a little confusing, the camera, bear with me. This way, there we go. So this one here.
Just like your hi, bunny.
She's the Midnight Madness by Night Owl Seed. So these are all autos. My second auto run. This is the strawberry. Hang on here. Oops, sorry. She's the strawberry milk and cookies. Then back here we have the Invader Zam, which is also Night Owl. And then we have Alaskan Diesel by Seedsman. And then we have my Blue Dream, which I overfed. I gave her flower newts when she wasn't in flowers, so she's not too happy with me, but she's got some buds going on. And they are in 5-gallon pots. I use Pro Mix, and that's pretty much it.
Green Planet nutrients.
Yes, and I use Green Planet nutrients. I'm using the Medi 1 right now, so it's like a synthetic. It's synthetic but organic. Sorry, how do you say that? Synganic?
Yeah, like a Synganic type of lineup.
Yeah, and I'm also running the AC Infinity S44 light, and then the AC Infinity filter, which needs to be clean. So yeah, that's what's going on in there. Just gonna
I got all jealous. The plants look so good. I'm like, I had to dip. I'm sorry. I just couldn't couldn't handle the beauty. It just knocked me right out of the screen.
I was supposed to feed them today, and I haven't had a chance. So they're actually.
Muted.
Oh, 1 second.
No, Bunny, you're good. Chad's muted.
Oh, okay.
I'm muted.
Oh, there you go. Now you're good.
Okay, you can hear me now.
It looked like you were talking, but I didn't hear. I couldn't hear anything.
Yeah, they were supposed
Well,
to
hopefully
be
you can
fed
hear me
today.
now. Can
But
you hear me now? Because I'm talking.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
We
Whew.
can hear you.
Thank you, Cbunny, for showing the garden in there. I appreciate that.
oh, no
You
problem.
had one in the back, and I guess I was on mute. I was on mute for it, but it was
Oh,
one of the night owls. Was it Invader Zim? Was that the name of the strain?
yes, Invader Zam, like ZAM.
Okay. There's an old comic called Invader Zim, probably 15 years ago, that freaking rocked. Like 2 seasons long, but I would put it like next to a Ren and Stimpy. If you're wondering what kind of show
Oh,
cartoon
yes,
it would, I'd be like, it's like a
yes.
Ren and Stimpy.
Oh my
But
goodness,
Invader
Ren
Zim.
and Stimpy.
Nice.
Ren and Stimpy. Oh my goodness.
But that's probably where it came from. That's probably where they got the name from. I would assume.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, with Zam, you can't
Just changed it a little
get
bit.
sued. Yeah, right.
Right.
Can't get sued that easily. Let me there we go. Okay, back to this real quick. Let's go ahead and give these away, and then I'll put up the last giveaway for the show before we wrap it up.
Good luck, everyone.
But again, this
Good
was
luck.
US only.
Let
Going
the
for the
good times
some
roll.
grade A some bitch.
Yes.
The good times roll, and here we go. Good times 98. Good luck to you guys. And again, if you do win, just let us know in chat that you are US based, and I'll have you hit me up. D Gray. Nice.
Congratulations.
D Gray. Yay. What color is Chad's hair? It's D Gray. All right, I'm writing this down here. D Gray. Some bitch. Congratulations, man. And to I mentioned this at the top of the show. I'll mention this now. Again, this last week has just been ridiculous busy for me. And for the first time, I haven't gotten last week's winners out before this show. So for those of you who are holding on, thank you for your patience from last week's, all the winners. I'll be getting those out this week. I've got things are more or less situated and in the right places now, so I can actually get to the jars I need to get to, and yeah, those types of things. So I apologize about that. I've been on the other end of winning seeds before, and it's like 3 weeks later, and you're like, are they coming? Like,
Yeah.
did they forget about
Yeah.
me? So yeah.
You win some
It
seeds
hasn't
that you're
been 3
super
weeks.
excited for, and you're like, oh yeah,
yeah.
I'm gonna put those into my next run, and then you're like,
Yeah.
you're waiting on them now, and you're like, oh man,
Yeah.
it happens.
Yeah.
Like
So
getting away sometimes.
yeah, you know, it does. It's crazy with the rotations that we have, because I do perpetual. Again, I've got a few different tents, and it's always moving from one to the other, and I specifically look for short flowering strains, like 60 days or less, because 60 days, 6 times a year, 6 harvests. Anything more, it throws it off. I've recently just picked up some of the Humboldt Seed Company stuff, because their blueberry muffin reliably and repeatedly finishes in about 50 days. There was another one that I got from them. I almost want to say like Mango Madness or something. Do I have it? No, I put it away. But that was also another 50-55 day finisher. So outdoors, they may be good.
Are you going to be getting on the triploid wagon with them? With the triploids that they have going on? Oh my goodness, that's just blowing my brain.
Yeah, so they sent everybody, if you spent more than $100, they sent you a sample of some triploids, and I think mine was called Nut Tree. But they are the diploids or triploids. It's conflicting for the home grower. I don't think it has a huge benefit. For the commercial grow operation, absolutely, this is what you have to do. You have to take that rogue male out of that field from pollinating your entire crop and ruining your harvest. To do it, yeah, that's where you're trying to get to. And the triploids sound like it's a solution at the moment, but I also know that seedless watermelons have annoying little white freaking seeds all over them. You can't just bite into it and just be like, oh, it's seedless. So I wonder if the diploid or the triploids will have little white seeds, but me being me, I'm going to try to pollinate it. So we're going to find out. You tell me it can't be done, and the first thing I want to do is do it. So I will pop out triploids. I will exactly. I will pollinate them, and then we'll see what happens. So yeah.
Oh, I love it. Cool, I love it. I can't wait.
I think that the triploids, I think, are kind of a good idea for the outdoor home growers because
or to
if my neighbors, if I'm growing and my neighbor's growing, or somebody on my street is growing outdoors and they don't necessarily know a lot about it, you know, they're just planting some bag seeds, which we've all done,
right?
And their plants pollinate my plants.
That's why in the winter you give all your neighbors the triploids, so that's all they have to plant. They don't have to go get any more seeds. And then your crop
door to door and give all your neighbors seeds at least.
If you would like.
That is so true, though. I guess, you know, again, me being an indoor grower, sometimes I look past the home outdoor grower, but gosh, so essential. Pollen can travel miles, whether it's from a hen field, a commercial field, or your freaking neighbor, Joe Bob, who's just like, it's a plant. Doesn't understand.
What happens if I shake it?
Look at all this weed. Look at all the THC coming off of it.
Look at all the crystals I'm getting off of this.
I'm sure that has been said somewhere at some point. Pretty positive.
I was actually, there's a guy on YouTube that I follow, Cali Growing Buds, and he does I think 12 plants in his backyard, and he does like the raised soil living beds, no till, and he grows these monsters. I say monsters, they're not Mendo dope monsters, but they're, you know, for the average backyard home grower, they're 3-4 pound plants. They're a good sized plant for sure.
Yeah.
And his whole crop got pollinated, and it was because he figured it out eventually, and it was because one of his neighbors had a male plant, and he made a couple videos talking about it, and just kind of like, what do I do? Do I go over there and get mad at him for not knowing this, or do I go over there and teach him about it, or do I go over there and give him some feminized seeds? So he ended up going over there with a bunch of feminized seeds that he had just kind of in the collection, and he knocked on the door and he just said, listen, I got something for you. I know this is what happened. I'm not mad at you. I'm here to educate you now. I'm here to give you some good genetics, and hopefully this year's a better year for all of us, kind of thing. And that's what he did.
Nice.
Which I thought was super cool.
Neighbor. That's being a good neighbor, because you're letting them know, but you're going, but here's the solution. You know,
and he's also a caregiver too. So his crop isn't just for him. It's a medical crop for multiple people. And when his crop got pollinated and he lost most of it, you know, his patients lost out on that as well. So
that's sad.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Well, that's very cool of you to go and do that and take that opportunity to turn it into like a learning lesson, and maybe something that, you know, probably opened up another line of communication between you two, instead of, you know, sending the drone with the Drano bomb to drop it on.
Right.
So well played, Mr. Ganiks. Probably well played. Oh shoot. Let's get one more giveaway here before we round up the show. And this was coming from Universal Elements Genetics. This is something that we highlighted last week as well. A fabulous description he has written for it, but this is actually his blueberry times my Hans Gruber that I put out last year. And he found a really awesome male out of the Hans Gruber that threw just a ton of crystals, ton of trichomes, bunch of smells and profiles. So he's like, yeah, I'm working with that daddy. And he put it against one of his favorite blueberries that he has. It's a DJ Short blueberry. So I'm personally excited to dip into these too. But he sent me like 8 packs. So frick yeah.
Cool.
Universal. Actually, here's the logo right here. Universal Element Genetics. Focus. There we go. All right. So we'll do that. Let me put up the screen here for everybody to enter one more time. And again, please, US only. And I just thought it would be fun to see a whole bunch of people type, hey there.
Hey there.
Hey there it is.
Hey there, neighbor.
Yeah.
That's what you say when you come over with your little packet of seeds. Hey there, neighbor.
That's right.
Good. Yeah, gosh, that'd be the way to start it. Again, so many of these conversations, especially because you knew that they were growing as like a caregiver, that you're able to have that conversation, because it can be weird with neighbors. I've known people that have some neighbors where they're like, if I see it over my fence line, the second I do, I'm blah, 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 blah. Then there's other people who are like, I don't care, but my son will probably steal it. And then, you know, having that rapport with your neighbor is pretty good.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, I think you have to, especially if you're
Well,
going to be
that's-
growing monster plants in your backyard. You gotta know your neighbors.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unless you live in the country.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, shoot, I'm reading some of the comments too. Hey there. It's like, dang, Trapper X, dang it, now I've got a song stuck in my head, man. Sorry about that. And here's a question from Lori. Lori is awesome, a huge supporter for the Canna community in general, not just this show, but she says, what's their show handle again? So
Home Grow the Community Official.
Yep, Home Grow the Community. And actually, I'll pull up your Instagram, or well, the Instagram for the main account here. We showed the YouTube page earlier, and this main Instagram, as well as all of the connecting Instagrams, are down in the show notes as well. So you'll be able to go there and connect with all of the people you're seeing here. Oh, let me get back to it. Doing things on computer.
There's
which they love.
There's a bunch of the older shows as well, I believe, on the YouTube or on the Instagram as well. I have to go look, but I'm pretty sure.
Yes, I believe there is.
And it was right around the time that Bunny joined into Home Grow. We started posting everything onto YouTube.
We did one interview on Instagram, and they dragged me on YouTube.
We're out.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you guys are over here, because it's at least for me a lot more accessible. The Instagram lives, I don't watch them. It's not just even on my radar. But if it's on YouTube, I get the notifications. I'm like, well, shit, I'm going to drop in. I've got, a lot of times I'm like working on an article or doing something, and I'm like, I want 20 minutes to sit down, smoke a bowl, and chill with good people. Yeah. And I'm like, sweet, everybody's hanging out over here right now.
And then next thing you know, you're on the show, and you're held hostage for like an hour and a half or something. And
thank you so much
you
for
realize
hanging
that you've
out
been
with
on for the whole night.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you have good times. See, okay, Cbunny. So, Cbunny, we are now over 2 hours into it. Are you still nervous, or are we good?
We're good.
See, I told you so. Yay!
It helped that we had previously interviewed you as well. But it's different being asked the questions instead of asking the questions.
Yeah,
it really
it's fun. It's fun from both sides. Like I love hosting because it allows me to be curious, and it's always like I get to be in the front row with my hand raised the whole time.
Yeah.
But being a guest is fun too, because you just get to sit there and let's talk about this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a totally different angle. It's so fun, you know.
It
It's
is.
poor Bunny. We don't let her speak as much as we should. Yeah, you know,
I
she's
don't have much to say. I'm still observing. I'm still new, so a lot of things I'm learning. They already know, so they could talk about it, and that's how I learn, which is great. That we're
yeah,
all at different levels of growing.
exactly.
So it's a perfect combination right there, and that's the right attitude too. You know, it's observation is so much. Like I may seem like a very social person just because I'm out here and I'm talking, but usually I'm that person that's just kind of like sitting at the table, just kind of like soaking it all in. You know, it's like I love being the
Exactly.
observer. And
Exactly.
if
Whatever
somebody
gets
else
the best
wants to
result.
talk, I let them talk. You know, I'm just like, cool.
Yes. I'm more than okay with that.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get these away here. 87 of you entered. Good luck. Here we go.
Good luck,
Good
everyone.
luck.
Yes, and we'll see where it stops. The winner will be decoy bacon. Okay, good deal.
Congrats.
That close,
Congrats,
Alicia. You
Decoy
were that
Bacon.
close.
Yeah,
And that
Alicia
will,
just got missed.
I know, and that will actually get shipped a lot sooner because he was a previous winner from actually months ago, and it got returned to me. And I won't show the address side, but it's already packed. So I'm just going to open this up, slide it in, and it will go out. So you're in luck. Decoy Bacon.
Nice.
Oh, congratulations.
Yes,
I've already got the
congrats.
address, so I'll easily just slip that in. That works out. Okay. Real quick, the homegrown, the community. Boom. Okay, here we are. Here's your Instagram page. So this is the one, and it's again official. This is what you're looking for as far as
On
the
Instagram.
main page goes. Yep,
Yeah.
on Instagram. You got the good
And we
posts
do
here.
on Instagram every Friday we announce a Grow Me of the Week. So we choose somebody from the community that we can hang out with and celebrate, and we get learn a little bit about them. We ask them a few questions every week, and it's a new Grow Me every week. So it's really fun, really fun. Oh yeah, this is our
Great.
how to join us over on YouTube.
YouTube, yes. A lot
Yeah,
of
this is for all
our,
the Grow Me Gardens people.
yeah.
For anybody that wants to actually come on to the show, they can go in and click the link. So this
And
right
Elle
here,
can-
this was. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
This right here, this morning actually, L Connoisseur, L_Connoisseur.
Yes.
He's one of the logo guys out there that you can actually trust. He's not out there being like, hey, you want to buy a logo? You want some logos?
Yeah.
Hey, anybody need some logos?
Right.
He's not that
He
guy.
made
You
this
know what I mean?
video.
He's super affordable. He's not like out there trying to get rich off one logo like a lot of these people are and ripping you off. He actually made that. We didn't ask him to. He just made that. That was
It
there
was
this
so
morning when I
sweet.
woke up, and I was like, oh
Wow.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
We
he's
love our
actually
community.
he's gonna format it properly so we can run it through our Grow Me Gardens, and we can run it through while we're waiting to show up and get everything going there. So yeah, I'm super
Nice.
excited. I was like, and you better give yourself some credit there, like made by or something. Like you need to be
Yeah,
putting
sign your
something
name
on
on
there.
there. It's artwork.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, you gotta tag it.
For real. I follow him on Instagram as well, and I can tell when his stuff pops up in my feed. I'm just like, damn, that's cool. Damn, that's cool. In the
Right?
last
Yeah.
couple, 2-3 weeks, it's been putting out a lot of really cool graphics. So
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah, so big ups to him for doing that for
Shout
the
out.
community and getting
Yes,
some good
thank you.
cool artwork out there. That was really cool to wake up to.
Yeah, shout out to that. Well, let's say Rico's in here. I had a question for you, Rico, but I'll ask you off the camera. How about that? Let's see here. Well, shoot, we are past the 2-hour mark, but this has been a wonderful time, and I've had more than the usual one guest, so it's okay. We went over a little
It's been
bit.
so much fun.
That's all right. It happens.
Good.
It
I'm
happens
very
to
glad to
everybody.
hear that. Very glad to hear that. I appreciate you guys coming today. I always like to give everybody, like the last word, and also to, shout yourself out where they can find you individually, and also anybody that you feel like it. Your dog, Cheetos, little juice boxes, apple juice. We'll go with you, Mr. Ganiks. We'll start off with you. So if you want to let everybody know where they can find you, and if you have any parting words or shout outs to do. Ooh, okay. There we go.
So over on Instagram, it's Mr.Ganiks. Exactly how it's spelled in. Lost my headphone there.
I'm so excited.
Mr. Ganiks, just how it's spelled in right there on the bottom of the screen on Instagram. Home Grow the Community official on Instagram, and Wednesdays 9 p.m. Eastern and Friday 9 p.m. Eastern over on YouTube. You can find us over there doing interviews. We had some great guests lined up. We've had some great guests in the past. You can rewatch them if you want to, or watch them for the first time. And yeah, we welcome everybody on Friday nights to come show your garden, come hang out, talk some shit. We had a great conversation about movies last night. So, I mean, it's
That
not
was
just
awesome.
about cannabis, So, yeah, we just like to have fun over there and make it comfortable for everybody to come hang out. And yeah, hopefully we see some more people next week and the week after that.
Awesome. Well, I hope they do follow over, because I was over there with you guys last night. It was a full Brady Bunch panel. I think there were 9 or 10 of us on there, and dude, I was again, it's one of those like my cheeks hurt when you're done, because you're just smiling, laughing, and enjoying
all
yourself.
the time.
I woke up this morning and I'm like, they're still sore. Oh my goodness, we had so much fun last night.
Oh, gosh, I have a lot of movies to watch now and catch up on.
Right?
No. But it was like I was saying, like we all picked, we all said our favorite movies or movies on the top of our list, and then next thing you know, Chad says one, Mama says one, somebody else says one, and we're just like, oh man,
And
I
the
forgot
chat,
all about those
oh my goodness,
movies.
the chat was just going nuts with movies. Like it was just, it was so much fun last night. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And that was our smoke sesh after. So we have Gromy Gardens where we see gardens, but then we just kind of hung out afterwards, and it was like, let's just hang out and be a crew and just like have some fun tonight. And I think it was almost 3 hours by the time we were all done. It was so fun.
Yeah.
So,
well, I've got you blown up here.
Yeah, I was just say you got me on the big screen here, so I may as well go next. So I'm Mama Kush 420 or Mama Kush 2.0 as my backup account in case Instagram decides to take me down again. Like Ganiks said, you can find us over on YouTube. We've just made that switch over, and it's probably the best thing we've done as a crew is to move over there. We are all just so happy. And I just want to say a shout out to the chat and to the community. You guys freaking rock. You guys all rock. You guys are awesome.
Awesome. Very well said.
Couldn't do it without the community.
100%. 100%. All right. Drum roll, Bunny. We're putting you on the big screen.
Oh boy.
There you go. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram under Cbunny Grow. I am a private account, but I do accept pretty much anyone. It's just I had to keep private. I kept getting banned by Instagram. So, and you could also follow us on Spotify under HDTC Podcast.
Awesome.
Yes.
Very good. Very good. Any party words of wisdom?
Well, I just want to thank you for having us and allowing us to have this platform, Chad. This is amazing. And it's been so cool to hang out with you for the last couple days. And I know we hung out with you last week when you were on our show, and I hope we get to do it again. And please come back on a Friday and just come hang out with us again. That was so fun. I know Alicia was with us, and she's like, like she was losing it last night. So thank you for that, because that just made my heart sing. That was absolutely fabulous.
Yeah, absolutely my pleasure, man.
That's the thing about Friday nights. You never know who is going to show up.
Yeah.
We've had High Again showing up, Chad Westport showing up. Mr. Growit has said he's going to pop in and surprise us one night. Sometimes Basement Autoflower or Basement Grow Show Grower Joe, sometimes he shows up. So you never know.
You never know.
Sometimes we get some surprises.
Yes.
All right,
And
well,
let's
we'll
grow
leave it at that.
together.
Yep. Well, we'll leave it with some mystery. Tune into them Friday evening, 6 p.m. on the West Coast, 9 p.m. on the East Coast.
Yeah.
And I will be back here in 2 weeks for another The Best Grow Show. So, everybody in
Thank you
chat,
so
thanks for
much.
hanging out. Appreciate the day. And all of you, Mr. Ganiks, Mama Kush, Cbunny, y'all rock. Thank you for hanging out. And thank you for sharing what you offer to everybody. See you
Thanks
next
for
time,
having us
guys. Yeah, my pleasure. See ya.
Fuck you, Westport!